What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squid School. Here we go. It is exciting right now for Splatoon fans. We've got some big news right around the corner. But right now we gotta be patient. We got some stuff to do before then. Got some league to play, got some VOD reviews to do. After this, I've got to go and vote. Make sure some anti-vaxxers don't make it into office. Yikes. So we got some stuff to do. So I'm gonna get the league lobby going right now, and I'm gonna be sending the code off to our VOD reviewees. Here is Raven. This is Chibi's cat friend. He will be our password bodyguard for today. There's that. Thank you, Raven. You have done us a great service. Alright. So, VOD reviews today were requested by Lux from Midnight Salamanders and Alesha from Whast'n. Lux is German, so it is very late over on their side of the world. Which means that they will not be able to join us in the league battles. Thanks for the follow, Pinkie Pie Puffle. We also had a follow from Plaxur, I think, earlier, so thank you for that. I have sent the password to Alesha, and I've also sent it to Koru, because Koru is, in fact, a teammate of Lux's, and the VOD that we are reviewing does actually involve a tournament set that their team played, so they are welcome to join us for league battles today as well. So there's Alesha, there's Koru. I think we will still need a fourth here. And neither of the players is going to be a backliner, so Devi would be a good call for that if you're interested in hopping in, Devi. Oh, looks like there's some kind of scrim going on in the server right now. That's neat. And all of the above people mentioned, feel free to hop into Waiting Room VC so that we can drag you up and let you ask questions and whatnot. Okay. There's Devi. And Devi can just gain access to this voice call, so that shouldn't be a problem. It is Kelp Dome. This is going to be a good map to have a Hydra for. Okay, I gotta go and catch up with chat a little bit. Thank you for the I think there's a subscription on YouTube.
Yes.
AJ? There's Devi. All right.
I was like, oh man, you already got a quad and it's Kelp Dome. But then you said, oh, there's still a +1, please.
Okay. And before I forget, I'm going to get this going. Okay. So, hello, Smidge and Whale Lord and Jamie and Banky and Vaz and Whale Lord. I think I said Whale Lord already. How's it going, Crispy? There's Wieners, memeing as always. I didn't cherry, and I don't particularly care. Happy Splatoon Direct Eve. How's it going, Mars? Hi,
Who else is
Squid.
gonna be busy at the time of the direct? Me.
Pour one out for our fallen soldiers. Hello, Golly. Plaxtor, what is your main weapon? I main the splatter shots. So Kent's splatter shot and Tenditech splatter shot primarily.
If what is it? Jamie had a suggestion. If Koru doesn't come in, what is it? Savage is also in chat, who's part of the team of Luxes with Lux. So.
Oh, absolutely, Savage, get in here. I would let me see if I've got you added on Discord. I do not. Are you in the Squid School Discord? Shameless plug. Here's our Discord server.
Not a shameless plug when it's always plugged throughout the stream.
That just means it's even less shameful. Yeah, I don't see Savage anywhere, but there you are. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go in to delete a friend request, so hang in there, Devi, and I'll be back to rejoin you shortly.
Hanging in there. I don't know, this is kind of hard.
Is Hydra Cops someone that we know?
Yes! Yes,
Okay.
it is! Context, they stream sniped me yesterday during my Hydra Crimes stream, so they were Hydra Cops.
Who though?
Like, Koru, Legs.
Who is
and
Hydra Cops?
two others.
That's a
They're
name.
people, they're literally people from the Squid School server.
Okay.
All of them.
Oh, okay. So it got sent by. Looks like it got sent to Dragon Quest 11 fan, aka Savage Cabbage, by Lux. So should be good. Which means I should have a friend request.
Yeah, that was pretty funny because the group sniped us. I think it was like 4 or 5 games in, and all we see is 4 people coming in as Devi snipe, and it's like, whoa! One of them even copied my look, and I was like, okay, this is bonus points. However, I still get to keep my crown. So out of 8 splatlings, 8 Hydra splatlings, I get to keep my crown.
Direct predictions. I don't like making too many predictions because people are bad at predicting the future. And I don't like being wrong. Okay, our next helper for today is going to be Calvin. We have been introduced to Calvin briefly in the past. This is a very, very, very cute bunny that is owned by Vaz. Just gonna leave him there for a minute. I predict there will be squids. No. Okay,
Fun. Yes.
so we should be getting Savage in here. We've got Devi. I'm not getting any word from Alesha. So, hey, Jamie, if you want to hop in, feel free. Oh, wait, Koru was going to hop in here, wasn't he? Where's Koru?
We don't know. That's why we put if Koru wasn't coming, then we have Savage.
Okay. Yeah, Jamie, hop in. Let's get this rolling. Don't want to wait too much longer. It's a very early direct for the Westerners. Yeah, some people will have to get up at 6 a.m. or something like that. Oh, I've received word that Koru will actually be joining here. Do we know who
this
Say
person?
is?
I don't know who Say is. Is this one of Lux's teammates? Because I think Lux actually... Oh, Say is apparently a teammate of Lux's too.
Okay.
I think Lux shared the password to the entire team.
Yeah, it looks like that's what happened.
Oh, that works.
Yeah. We'll run it for now. Zones, anchovy, and kelp. Okay. So we got armor, missiles, jet, and then bomb rush. This isn't too bad in terms of specials. Are you in a team? I was until very recently. We just disbanded, but I am already in the process of trying out for other teams. So there may be news on that in the near future.
Ooh. Exciting.
And hi, Annie, and Project, and Rob Lover, and Blue DJ. Oh my goodness, there's so many people to say hi to, and I have to scroll through a lot of messages to get to them. Is this a new YouTube feature or something?
Becca, buddy.
YouTube Live, like streaming? That's not particularly new. All right, we'll get rid of the bunny. Not that we don't like the bunny, just we kind of need to see. Okay, so some Element R here.
Element R and 2 other stream friends, because Becca's streaming right now with Buddy.
Oh, okay. Is Becca like the Luna Blaster or something?
I don't know. I didn't.
She mains Clash, so I don't know what that's. What weapon she would be in there. But, all right. So they get early cap, but I've got. There's one on fan. Watch out for that. They just popped armor.
There's 3
Jetting.
left with armor. Nice bomb rush. I'm gonna pop armor here.
I'm in VC, by the way, for easier communication.
There's a lot on the
Awesome.
left still. Say is alone. Say is alone against 3.
I'm just gonna back up a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah, we need specials to push them out of the right hand corner
Got
because
one.
they're gonna special us.
One good missile.
One there fan and 2 left corner.
2 right fan. 2 right fan.
2 right fan now.
Missile all 3. One going right.
Jetting.
No, rather. Yeah, they're backing up. They're backing off.
Get zone. Okay, we got
And
zone.
move up.
Nice. One in office still. Good bomb rush. I'm gonna jump into Devi.
Yeah, you're good.
One out right, one out
Blasters-
right, one out
Blasters
right.
on the right. I'm gonna stay up here.
Oops, sorry, I fed.
Got one.
There we go. Good. Becca's the rapid. Oh, there's 2 on me. I gotta get out. Peace.
All right. Yeah, I'm getting
I'm
bomb
jumping
rushed
into
and
the
rained
beacon.
out of here. I don't have a way.
Yeah. There's some BP on the beacons, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
They're not pushing super far in when they get
No,
zone.
they're pushing in with specials. So they're playing passive until they get a special, and then they're pushing in. They've done it twice now. So we need it in return. We got an inkjet. I'm 3/4 to armor. Almost have it. Oh, we're 1 down though. Shoot.
The killer got me, sorry. There's little
Rapids
blasters.
coming after me. They're on zone.
I broke an armor. Nice, we got 1. Nice bomb rush. Rains over zone and 2 left corner. 1 left corner. Booyah bomb from arcade.
Pushing left.
You can,
There's a
you can
rapid
pinch
there.
the blaster. Pinch the
Rapid weak.
blaster.
They jumped.
There you go. Good.
Okay, let's get up on
All
flat.
right. Forward march. Right side. There was a this way to the right side on zone.
I have armor.
Got him.
Perfect.
They collapse. One
I'm
drop down.
gonna
They're
die.
alone.
I got out. Barely. 2 left. There we go.
Yeah, there's. I am down to the
Missile
other one.
them.
On my ouch.
I'm the last one
Two from
here.
left. Two from left. We got one with behind you.
I'm backing off.
See if we can. Oh, okay. We probably could have contested
Yeah.
zone there actually.
I was the only one shooting at it.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were.
Oh, rapid
can
on me,
help.
right in front.
Pro weak on left fan. I've got to back up.
Luna right. Both blasters in mid. Jump into the left-hand side. 1 there, fan.
There's
2
2
left
on
missile
side.
3 there.
On my
We're down.
ouch.
We're down. I'm just gonna...
I traded with one
Yeah,
in
play
zone.
it safe here.
Be careful. Don't
Again,
go
they're
in yet.
pushing with specials. One blaster's on the right fan, one's in middle, and one's back middle. Oh, I'm gonna die to rapid!
Got rapid.
There we go, good. Back left. Oh, one dropping right on the beacon.
Okay.
Careful, there's only 2 of us.
Let's collapse this one right.
There's 2 over there. Be careful.
Heads up.
Got one.
Post low.
Okay.
Post
I'm
very
on the-
low. They're
I'm
backing
on the
off. Never
left.
mind.
Rapid sees me left.
Luna weak under me. On left, underneath the fan. On fan, on fan.
Nice cap.
Get him. Nice.
There we go, good.
Jetting into mid. 2 in mid.
Paint zone if we can.
That's 1.
Nice. Right
I was
side.
one behind.
Right side
On
splash.
right.
Yeah, they're in the corner.
I traded.
Nice trade. 3 down.
Just Luna, and they're spawning.
Okay, I've got a mine down on the right. In zone.
Say's going
Okay.
off there.
Have
Yeah.
armor?
Say's kind of crazy.
2 dropped office. Cutting him off. I went in too deep.
I got one. Crap. The look killer was there.
Alright, we're
Almost
scoring.
got 2.
Just trying to play for zone.
They're gonna come to the left.
I'm gonna paint here. We can just outpaint them here. Straight up.
Got one. Another one.
Oh
dropped.
no!
2 dropped.
I died!
No, I'm
Luna,
down.
that's a bad wipe. There's a beacon we might be able to use closer to our base.
Oh,
I don't think
wow.
they'll get there in time.
I believe.
Stay traded. Jim, on you.
Yeah.
I'm with you, but there's 2.
Nice. There's 2 on left. See if we can go for
I
zone.
thought
Go for
this
zone
was
from
one-
the front.
Crap! There was
I
one
got
that
two, I got
from
two.
right.
There's one on our plat. One on our plat.
Go for zone.
Yeah, go for zone from left, Debbie.
I am.
Say got one pick on zone. We can just cop here.
Armor.
Great. Nice. That's nice. You likely don't know, but Say is very active on Academy, which is the competitive Splatoon Discord. And I think he's the most helpful player, like he helps the most people on there of everybody. He's super active and answers all the questions.
Alright.
So he's a good member of the community.
Thumbnail is the rabbit picture. Perfect. This is what we wanted, right? Cute rabbit picture. What more could you ask for? Oh, Lux, we are in the Squid School waiting. Like go to waiting room. Okay, there's Lux.
Is there.
We'll pull up Koru. Is Brady? Oh no, Brady is not on their
Brady's in
team.
the chat.
Koru and Lux are here. Okay, I'll ask Say to leave, so that Lux and Toshiro can get in.
Hi.
It's fine having, you know, we're VOD reviewing for the whole team, right? So I don't think it makes a huge difference. And this
I was
way,
not in the VOD that's being
This
reviewed.
way we can just keep.
Oh,
who we have
true.
And
Well,
leave for power. Okay.
yeah,
so
it's for the benefit of the team. It's not a huge deal, I don't think.
Yeah, I'll head out.
And this
so
way
that
we'll
Lux
actually
can
get
join,
a
but-
league power. So
Yes. I'll head out.
oh,
Let
Koru left.
another
Okay.
person come. All right.
Have any tips for a new Splatoon 2 streamer? Oh, so
There's another chibi.
make sure to pay better attention to chat than I do. It's really important that you talk to people consistently and show your face on stream. Otherwise, it's just not nearly as engaging. You got to give people a reason to watch you instead of a recording of Chocopero. Because if you're gonna watch someone and not like listen to them talk, you're gonna want to watch the best player in the world, so you're learning better habits. Unless there's something like really funny going on or something. So like, you gotta like have a personality out there. You gotta like engage the audience, create some kind of interaction with them. Having a consistent schedule helps. Posting on like Twitter and Discord and stuff when you're going live helps a lot. When you get rated, you know, shout out the people who rated you and try and cross-pollinate the communities between the two. Hopefully that gets you started.
Sorry, I'm actually joining back. Apparently, neither Lux or Koru, despite being in VC, can join. Apparently, so
All right.
whatever.
Well, I'll do it.
Fun.
And hello, Waru Chu. Cross-pollinate is such a term. Yeah. And yeah, no problem, Chibi Astro. Good luck. One of the nice things about this community is that there aren't so many people who are streaming that it's impossible to end up like on the front page. It's not like you're competing against some like cracked professional player with $1 million setup who's just gonna get 20,000 views every time he goes live. There's definitely a lot of room for new people to show up and, you know, as long as they're consistent, to stay around.
One I think might come out right, otherwise
that's a
3
ball
off
point.
this.
I'm missile 2 on zone.
Ball points and
2
someone else
moved
on
up.
right.
A lot.
I got one.
On the right.
A lot on
They're
right.
all on right. They're all on right.
Ball point got me.
Say's flanking them, but he's the last one. Oh, we have a beacon on their side, but it's gonna get destroyed.
You're
Yeah,
gonna get chased
it will.
down. Be careful.
There's someone
Oh,
on
yeah.
our street already. Bucket and brush.
In our office now.
They have armor. I
We
can't
gotta be
kill them.
careful because Say's down. Alright.
I
Don't
got this
chase
drop.
on left.
I'm gonna
there's
pop
a bunch
armor.
out on left.
I missed
Alright.
the one on our plat. Got them
What
back
was
down.
it?
Okay. There's a K-brush here as well.
Traded.
I got the brush.
2 for 2.
I can't. There's 2 on me right now.
There's a
I'm
beacon
missing them.
underneath,
They're
right?
keeping away.
I traded with the dualies, but I couldn't get the ball point.
Price low. They're
One's coming out.
from right, from right, from right.
I got one. There's probably on me. Try me. Right.
Get out of there,
crap.
Say.
You're
You're
the
alone.
only one.
You got one.
Okay, there's one on our fan. Welchers.
We
They're
need
gonna
zone
chase me.
soon. Don't
Yeah.
stay alive until we get there.
Oh,
Yeah,
there's 2
just
below
wait.
me.
Yeah. Ball point weak. Ball point down.
I missed
brush down me.
all 3 of them.
Go
I
for
got the
zone.
brush.
Go for zone. We got numbers. There we go.
I got it.
They're
Okay,
backed up.
They're fan in left corner. Okay, they're street in left corner. They're gonna be 2 in left corner. Rain's out.
Try is on their plat. They popped their armor. 2 coming at me right.
Yeah. Shoot the fall. I can't move. There we go.
I'm down on right.
I got 1. Got 2.
Another one on heavy.
There's
Help right.
There's
Help
one on
right.
our flat. Oh crap.
Bad play on my
What's
part.
there? Oh.
They're marked. They're right underneath the ledge.
Yeah, I'm going with Say.
Okay. Yeah, we'll try and keep pressure on the middle here so that we distract
Got
them.
one.
Nice.
Got 2. But
Try
Say's
in
down.
office. Hit him twice. Got him.
Crap. Sorry.
That's 3
There's
down.
another-
Just go for zone.
There's another behind you.
I know. Got him.
We'll need to paint up our side. They can flank right really easily.
On their fan. Say, watch out.
Try to stay a little bit closer to us. Say we can't follow up on a lot of those fights.
I died with the hammer.
2
That
on
was my
flat.
bad.
Oh shoot! I didn't.
We're
see the
careful.
dualies.
You're alone.
You're alone. You're alone.
Say no.
I think he's going for trade here. I'm not sure I'll get it though. Yeah, that's rather unfortunate. They're pushing onto our plat.
Yeah, there's 3 on our
I
plat.
might go down to the bucket here.
Missile 2. One on you, Devi.
Oh,
We gotta get
shoot.
going. Pop specials. Let's go.
Oh crap! I died to the. Oh, Sam, that was my bad.
It's just you.
Yeah, we got wiped.
Yeah, that'll be it.
We had a pretty heavy stagger there the entire game. We could not
Yeah,
follow
that
up
was
with
rather
Say.
unfortunate.
Like, when someone goes down, we've got to recognize that and not engage in a fight. Engaging in a fight in that situation, the best case scenario is that we trade and go 1 for 1. which doesn't change the situation, which is that we're down. We need to instead wait for our teammates and spend whatever time we can charging specials. Because then when the teammates get back, we have specials ready to go in with right away.
Yeah.
The specials are what actually help us get in there, not a flank that puts us in a 1v3.
Definitely.
Kind of sad that, I guess I've only done 2 games, but they've both been anchovy.
First time I've been able to catch one of your streams, time zones. Really enjoy your content, especially the climbing series. Thank you. Appreciate it. Is this a scrim? No, we're playing League, as I guess you can probably see now. So that's Dually Squelcher running 3 peers of MPU. Okay, that's maybe a little excessive, but Dually Squelchers do actually need 3.6, I think, to get max benefit out of it. So there's only so much room for other stuff.
I think it's 3.5 because they I know they run a sub of bomb defense, some of Inkreds, and 2 subs of Inkzippermain usually.
I think what a lot of people will do is not go up to the max number, just to take that 1 sub less so that they can fit another utility sub in. But like the actual max benefit, the actual place where it caps is 3.6.
Yeah. But I know 3.5 is a lot more common on something than like K-Pro, which usually just runs 3.4. And I think actually it's because
K-Pro actually gets to the cap at 3.4.
Yeah. But I think part of the reason is because you actually reach max. You actually 4-shot at a far indirect with 3.5 as opposed to 3.4. You'd have to fact check that, but I think that's true. So it has an additional benefit beyond just the chance of a 3-shot.
I know this tag.
Glad to see a bunch of new folks in the chat here. Should have some pretty lively discussion going on when the VOD review starts.
I cannot remember what team this tag is, but I know that the Charger and the Sploosh. I have seen them before, but I cannot remember where or what their team is. Oh, Charger fan, don't go too close to the right or the Charger can hit you.
Missile Dull 4.
Careful, say.
There's one yeah. He's armored, I can't get him.
Okay, that's 1 down. Charger's on left now.
I got him.
On right, hit him. Nice.
I'm back up.
Charger, jetting at the Charger. Charger's going up the wall. They're behind. They jumped out.
They jumped out. Missile 2, they're coming back.
Right
one
side.
looking to come out right.
I put a mine at the bottom.
One coming left. Sharking. Is this Sploosh?
Armor and dropping right. Got one.
I got one with a mine.
They're bombing zone.
Fan got me.
Help me push right. Side. It's just one. Oh, I'm gonna die here. No.
Oh crap! I couldn't quick. It's Sploosh. I'm the last one.
It's just you there. Careful.
Yeah. Yeah, they're gonna push through right here.
Alright.
It's Sploosh on me. He's low, but he's still here.
Nice. That's 1 down.
Another one.
Push the Charger. Nice.
I missed the other 2. One on our fan.
Yep.
Backing off. Left.
Ow.
On their fan. On me.
On the left.
Thank you.
Left corner.
Moving.
No armor. Dead.
There you go.
Right office. Someone dropped right already.
All right. They're flanking behind.
On our plat. I hit him once.
Yeah, they're down. Okay, great. Missile Dull 3.
They have numbers disadvantage, so we win this fight if they take it. Just watch out for the bombs.
They're bomb rushing and missiling. This is very scary. Devi, you're alone right now. We can't help you.
There's a Charger right here. Peace.
They collapsed on me on right. I probably go down after this.
There is a second one by you. So behind you.
No! I ran out of ink. I could have gotten the Charger.
2 on our fan.
Yeah, we're a little scattered at the moment.
On our plat. Nice. That's 1 down. Start moving in. Good armor.
One on right. Say got picked.
Charger's 1 shot in the backside of zone.
Missile 2. 1 close to our fan.
Yeah, there's one right underneath of me somewhere.
Jetting. 2 on left. Still 2 on left. I'm down from fan. Right fan.
I have to get away. I can't. Oh, they had armor. Their armors are causing trouble. They're pushing up.
As soon as they have armor, they're pushing as a unit. We have to do the same thing.
They're bomb rushing. That's a bomb rush.
Oh, we're all down.
Yeah.
Well, rest in peace, me.
Alright, we've got to get jump to say, and we've got to get out with say.
Yeah.
It's the only way
They're coming with. Heads up.
Yep. We don't
Got one.
We gotta go for it.
Yeah. I got one, but
Yeah.
Like, that's unfortunate. That was a good team, yeah.
Yeah, they had more of the synergy than we did because the fights we took were all 1v1s in corners. I was watching it on the map and I'm like, I don't know who to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a frontline, we need to stick closer together as a general rule. So make sure that when a fight is called, like when someone's hard engaging, any other engagement that could happen is just you holding them off, not committing to it. Only ever commit to one fight at a time. So if somebody else is trying to push you, you're trying to fend them off. You're not trying to go in on a second fight, so that we're using all of our resources to support the one fight that's going on and giving ourselves the best chance of winning that instead of taking 2 at the same time. You can think about it like this. If we all commit to one fight and take all of our resources on that fight, that's when we're more likely to win. If we take 2 different 1v1s, then if we lose each one of those 1v1s, then that's not to our advantage. If we go even in those 1v1s, where one 1v1 we win and one we don't, then it's even, and since we're taking the fights probably when we used specials, that's still a loss. So the only way that goes well is if we win both of them, which is the least likely outcome. So
I think I'm actually going to go jet here, even though it's double backline, because I think it'll be beneficial in the long run.
It'll definitely sacrifice pushing power.
Yeah, but it will allow us to work. I think it'll allow us to work better together. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You can say Hydra if you want. I don't know. I can switch back to Flings as well. I'm just not feeling it right now.
Oh, that's fine. We can make 2 range works on both of these maps. It just means I'm playing right side Kelp, left side Anchovy.
Yeah.
Are you on Team Stealth Jump or Team Drop Roller on T-Tech? Team Stealth Jump. Drop Roller... The way that you're supposed to camp a jump is with a lethal bomb, and Drop Roller doesn't do anything about that. I mean, it might, if they get the timing wrong, but the better players get, the less likely that is to work. And them not being able to see you at all, I think is more valuable with the super jumps in.
Right side's mine.
The missiles are mine.
Right. So play around right side, because that's where Devi's going to have overwhelming control. There's already one being pushed to you. There you go, perfect.
Oh, I got sniped from the back side of mid.
I went too far left.
Say, we need you in by mid. I don't know if Say can even hear us, by the way.
No, he's not in VC right now. There's one flanking into our base. There's a sploosh.
I'm on their side, don't worry.
Sploosh. Sploosh in our base. Sploosh in our base.
Don't worry about the sploosh in our base. Just jump to us. We're on their
side. Okay.
We've got 2 down right now. I'm not going to go in for it yet, but I have an Inkjet to try and displace the Charger.
I'm jumping over here.
2 mid.
I'm just gonna paint it from here. Missile 2.
I'm weak.
Watch from left from our base.
Got one.
Might come from that way.
Dead.
Oh, that's a bomb.
Right by me. No.
There's 2 on our drop.
There's a suction bomb. Yeah. We capped that. That's what's important.
Whoever's playing the jet, if you're by me, you gotta tell me so I can take the other side.
Oh, sorry,
You
yeah.
cannot stand hand in hand. That is my death.
I'm over by the beacon.
Okay, I'm above you.
Charger's top mid.
Charger wants me.
Okay, well, you're on that side. I'm gonna go left then, because we need a pinch angle.
I'm on left now.
Jim, I'm with you. There's one behind me,
Fire
though.
smoke got me. Yeah, for sure.
I got him.
Okay, great.
Nice.
Here's
Okay.
armor.
They still haven't destroyed our beacon on the right.
Chargers on
behind.
left.
Front of mid. Two
Bomb rush on
the
right.
left side.
Got them.
I'm pinning zone.
On my jump.
Got one.
Thank you. All right, that's cap. Let's get paint around the zone.
Behind mid, going up top,
I see it.
two.
I see
Missile
it.
him.
I see it.
Right side. They have hammer.
Yeah, behind
Got
us,
him.
behind us. Okay, great. That's good.
I have no ink. I need
Chargers
to
drop.
recharge.
Oh no, chargers left drop.
Yeah. I'm left side one gonna come out left here.
I'm watching
Yep,
it.
they dropped left tree. Here,
Flushing him
got
out.
it.
Nice.
I got it. Thanks. I'm gonna pop armor. Armor.
Two
Take the
force
bomb
right.
rush. Nice. Stays on it.
2 are stuck on right.
Trying to keep
so...
zone here. Nice. 2 on me. I'm down to hammer. 1 on top mid. K shot.
I got him.
Shots.
Crop sploosh got
Still wanna
me.
drop?
Mid. Zone. I'll say
Trying to
thank
help
you.
Say.
I got it.
He's got 1.
We got lead.
Chargers weak.
Oh, that's great.
Another one above.
I'm pinging for missiles right.
Yeah, just paint, because they have to rush the zone really hard to be able to get enough.
From right.
Paint, just paint.
I'm
Nice.
literally
Okay.
in their base.
That was a weird match. We immediately switched sides at the very beginning.
Well, I called right, you came with me. I can't be the same side as you, so I took
Yeah,
left.
sorry.
Okay, this works. Yeah,
That's
if we're
not bad.
gonna play 2 range, I have to be the opposite side to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes we are forced to play the same side, but at this point in time, since we can communicate that, and I saw Say and Jem go over there, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine to take them. So.
I'm probably gonna switch off Jet. I don't know what to go here. What can I play? Will bamboo work here?
Yeah, that can work. Missiles and yeah, I'm down with that. So, Dragon Quest fan, is that just your tag in like comp as well, or do you go by a different IGN when you're playing tournament stuff?
I'm always Dragon Quest 11 fan or DQ11 fan. That's been my name for since I named myself that. Since I was originally Savage, Savagery Cavagery. It was a little complicated. I had another name for Minecraft, which is the main thing I played for a while. So that was what I went by. Then it was Palarandrusk, which is named after a dragon from Dungeons and Dragons.
So,
but
into dragons, I see.
yeah. But then I played Dragon Quest 11 because a friend got it for me. I realized I really liked it. It's one of my favorite games of all time. So I thought it would be funny, sort of just let's say, okay, I'm Dragon Quest 11 fan. So that's sort of
the number.
And of course, then everybody calls me Dairy Queen 11 fan.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
paper! Oh.
Are they doing a tryout right now? No, this is. So I'm gonna be doing a VOD review for the team that we're playing with, and we always start the streams by playing some League to give people time to filter in before the VOD review begins.
Right side one. Pushed it back.
There's a
I hit it
dualies in our left
Oh, shoot.
side.
I
Oh,
can
God,
push
I
with you.
dropped. Oh no.
All right, Devi's down. Be careful.
Yeah, I thought Say was gonna come push with me, but I misread.
Slasher here.
2 coming left. I'm in behind them. Go, go, go.
Yeah, watch
Uh,
out, watch
one.
out, watch out.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
Two,
negated.
two
There's
actually.
still
2
two.
hardcore.
Yeah.
Dynamo down. Another down.
That one.
That's 3 down. Go.
I just Slasher.
Last one's on their the box, the snipe box.
Alright.
By me,
They're going right.
Your tool.
I'm coming right.
Well, I got him. Hi, Vapor.
Nice. I'm close to Jet. I'm
One
gonna
coming
jet
right.
over the top into their base.
Oh, the Dynamo.
1 dropped out of spawn. Bucket in the corner.
I'm jumping to you.
Someone keep
Got
an
him?
eye on the left. Make sure someone.
Okay,
keeps
there's one in mid. There's one in mid.
Dooley's
One in mid.
Dooley's in mid. They've got splashdown. Be careful.
Oh crap! I died to
Dooley's got
the torpedo combo.
Oh no.
Yeah, we should. Yeah. I left
Heavy.
mid at the wrong time. That was unfortunate.
There's one in our court. Oh, that's an inkjet.
Yeah.
Inkjet and Dooley's are going to be watching it too.
Oh,
I am
I'm
missiled.
missiled.
I'm down on left. Say's gonna need
There's
help
two
on
on
left.
the right. Two on the
Oh,
right.
Oh, there's
crap.
one in our base.
Yeah, they
There's
got
left.
me.
Okay.
I.
Slasher's directly under me on the right.
One our drop.
Here's armor. Oh, Six died.
I gotta jump.
Still a slasher by me.
I'm
gonna move.
Dapple's very low.
Moving
Got
to the
one.
other side.
One very low on right. Okay, they
Yeah, there's a
killed
lot on the
mine.
right.
There's one left zone. Bucket going to top mid.
Dooley's below our
Inkjetting for
snipe.
bucket.
Shifting.
Got.
Got mine. We
Okay.
need
Stays
zone
down
now.
again. We're
Paint
one
as
down.
much as possible.
I traded. Sorry.
It's
Oh, yeah, that's
just
bad. That's bad.
me.
No,
Whee!
they were really aggressive. That's unfortunate.
I know these people, so.
Mhm.
Vapor's usually an Explo main, but on a different bucket.
We've got a fellow Dragon Quest XI fan in the chat.
Oh, great!
Alexis called it fire.
Amazing. Do you think that missiles are weaker on Kelp Dome because of all the grates, which
Yes.
makes them not land?
Yes.
Correct.
Should I go Mark II then? Because I can use the bomb rush to help with zone.
If you think that'll be more helpful, yeah.
Okay.
The
Okay.
information from the missiles is never bad, but
Yeah.
You get info and extra paint on top, and if they have a backline, they have to know to move faster because the missiles land on you faster from above on the grates, and it's like.
Oh yeah. I know the feeling.
Yeah, I get it all the time. So the amount of times people have went quad missile, I've been solo quad missiled. I think I've experienced it all at this point.
If you know the bubble combo, the bubbles bamboo isn't bad here either. There are a lot of
Oh,
choke
that's
points
true.
where bubbles help a lot. And
I
fizzies are always
do.
good.
I don't play the bubble bamboo, but I do play K Junior for the insane K Junior bubble combo. And I also play Squeezer, although it's hard, so I don't.
I might have to learn how to do K Junior in 3 days.
Yeah. I think it's actually a lot of fun. It's a surprising amount of fun just because of how strong the bubble combo is, even though you're spending most of the time just painting for it.
Yeah, that weapon is
Oh boy.
all about its bubbles. It's a one.
It's one. Yeah, it's one note.
There's two
I'm
coming
taking
out
a
left.
different approach.
Where
There
are
are
you at?
3 on the right.
right?
3 on the
Okay.
right. Yeah,
Helping
yeah.
right?
I have to take over here because there's a leader.
There are two that were fighting. us
Dynamo
there.
over here. Oh crap! I didn't realize they
You're alone,
could
Debbie.
come left. That was my bad.
I got the leader.
All right.
They're pinning left
We're
as
good
well.
from right. Because that's where
One's
Debbie's got a
directly below
stronghold.
me.
Oh crap!
Oh,
That
they
was a really
just
bad
booyah'd
jump.
me.
Oh, never mind. They didn't booyah on me.
This is gonna be a bad spot for me. Hello,
I'm
leader.
just backing off.
There's 2 by me. This is bad. I'm gonna get out of here. I took the leader, the dynamo, and the dualies with me,
Got
all on the
one.
right side. Here.
They want me.
Ah,
Leader's on the tool, Gem. Be
yeah,
careful.
I'm flanking that.
Okay, I'm
The
gonna
toxic
try to
mist
look
did
at
one
zone
top.
then. There we
Dynamo.
go. Zone?
I'm down on right. They're coming out court.
Yes, yes.
Get zone if we can.
I couldn't get him.
No!
It was one shot.
Leader's gonna pursue the top right, so we gotta.
Ancient
take
over left.
that,
Oh crap! I got one shot by the inkjet. I didn't expect him to see me. That was my bad. I fed there.
how
It's not
did-
worth jumping that close. You're faster just swimming. All right. We gotta go.
What?
Okay, nice.
So
That's
weird.
one.
Zone. Just
Yeah.
focus painting zone.
We don't have enough
I
paint.
can't paint.
It
Yeah.
was 3v4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
whoever was trying to
unfortunate.
super jump to me while I'm sitting on perch, it is literally faster for you to just swim from spawn to get there.
Mhm.
Not worth risking death on a super jump, especially with a like an E-leader or a Dynamo who could be watching.
Yeah, yeah. I realized immediately after I did it that it was a bad idea, especially because there was a Dynamo charging a Booyah Bomb, and if he had turned right, he could have just killed me. But yeah.
All right, one more, and then we're on to VOD review stuff.
All right. I'll stick with this. Actually, I'm gonna hard read Anchovy. I'm gonna predict it.
Oh, hi Mars.
Mars.
Mars popped into chat earlier.
Oh,
This is that same Mars?
Yep.
oh, not Anchovy. Rip.
It's Kelp Dome! Hooray!
Their Dynamo DC'd immediately,
Oh,
so that's unfortunate.
we were too scary.
2 on right. That's 1 down.
One more on the far right. I
Get
backed
zone.
up into their choke.
We've got
I
time.
got one.
Grab left side of zone. We got right. There we go.
2 on their snipe point.
I'm working with Say on right.
I'm here too.
Oh, okay, we're probably overcommitted to this then. Got 1.
Nah, you guys are fine.
Oh, there's only one left.
They're at spawn.
They got him.
That's wide.
I'm gonna missile them out of spawn.
This is my new home.
Oh, I think they're giving up. Yeah.
Rip.
One of them just spinning in a circle. That's sad for a last game. Oh, I got one with missiles.
I'm waving to Mars.
I'm gonna... Oh. I'm gonna massive sprinkler.
I'm gonna paint to up my average missile count per game. And also to add to my total paint on bamboo. One on zone. Oh, there's good partying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Sad final game.
What
That's
a...
a way for that to end, I guess.
What a final game.
Indeed.
Hi, Oreo Queen, or now it is OEO Queen.
OEO Queen.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate for a last game, but here we are.
I don't know why Lux or Cora couldn't join. They haven't answered. Hopefully they'll be around when you're actually reviewing the VODs, because as it turns out, neither me nor Say are actually in the VODs you're reviewing.
Okay. Well, Lux and Cora are both here muted in chat right now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. They're here, I just don't know why they can't play. Whatever. Thanks for the game.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Bye.
We
GG's,
still
guys.
got a league session in. GG's.
And you guys can still stay in the chat, because we're going to be doing you guys' VOD review first. Part of this is that Lux is in Germany, so it's really late, and I don't want to make them wait any later to be able to hear it. So we're going to get started with them first, which means I need to refresh that real quick. Okay. And now
good
this
morning.
should be set up in such a way that... Oops, pause that. I should be able to actually read chat this time. I've done some tinkering. I've found some solutions. All right. So, that's the tiniest bit out of alignment. There we go. Much better. All right. So, this is a VOD review for the team Midnight Salamanders. We have multiple members of that team here. Dragon Quest XI we were hearing earlier. They are not in this VOD. Lux is in the VOD, and Koru is in the VOD, and both of them are in the chat here. They were playing with a sub. Their NZAP in this game is a sub, but otherwise this is a competitive team, and this is tournament footage that's actually taken from that tournament's stream. So unfortunately, the tournament stream will be on the auto spectator cam, which means that there are some situations where we might not have quite all the information that we would like to, but it should still be plenty for us to be able to discuss and to kind of talk about our game plan, especially as frontline players, because Lux plays the Neo Splash, and we're going to be watching a lot of Koru on the K-Gal, especially in situations where Koru isn't actually in the fight that's happening. The camera loves doing that. So, I can't believe you removed GR Boshin. Yeah, it's Boshin's fault for using the wrong name, okay? So, here we go. I've got the commentary muted. That is so that we can talk about it at our own pace and not be having to listen to so many things at once. So, team comps, first of all, we've got Zap and K-Gal on both teams, so that's... I mean, those are always good choices, pretty much. Like, there are very few places where I would ever object to having an NZAP 85 or a Kensa 52 Gal. They are very strong meta weapons, and they are very versatile as well. So Org is the sub on the Zap, so one of the things that you as a team want to be communicating with them about is what their plan is for the beginning. Some Zaps like to go straight into mid and get their armor from there. Some Zaps like to paint for armor as they go out to mid. If they're painting for armor as they go out, that means that you're unlikely to have support from them if you get into a fight in the first 10 seconds or so of the match. So, depending on what your Zap wants to do, you want to have an idea of how aggressively they're going to be playing so that you can, you know, make sure that you're going in with them and with the armor that they're going to be providing you for that. So it looks like they're painting out on the left. Oh, wait, no, that's the blue side. So it looks like they're pushing out with you guys here. So you're all working together to take bridge. You got 3 on bridge. I would say on this comp, the weapons that I would expect to contest the bridge the most are the Bloblobber and the K52. K52 because it has wall, and so wall will let it kind of move up slowly bit by bit. And Blob because it can contest the bridge at a pretty significant range without having to expose itself too much. The short-range weapons struggle there a little bit more. If they run into something that has longer range than them, or if they run into something that has the capability of walling them, like a tent umbrella or something like that, they get into a lot more trouble. So, for example, if they just put themselves into an exposed position on bridge, they're food for the Rapid Blaster, they're food for the Nautilus, if it just peeks a corner. If they get in a little bit too far, they can run up against the wall of a K52 and be stuck without all that much cover up there. I would be thinking on this comp, I would probably think I want maybe like Splat Squid and Koru, Toshiro is Koru, to be working together on the bridge and to be trying to control that together. And then maybe have the Zap paint out into like the zone area so that it can be like at least getting one of the zones capped and have that contested somewhat. And then maybe have the Splash do a flank around the right to try and pinch between the people on bridge and them. Short range weapons really love taking the flank routes on this area. I'm hoping you guys in Discord are able to see my mouse here. Is that correct?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, cool. So if you come up this wall right here, that's really good for a frontline weapon. If you come around right sneaky, that's usually really good. On most maps, it's also a really good option if those two are blocked off to go straight underneath bridge and try and come up lamp if they're really heavily guarding this side, and that's a mix-up. On zones, that's less likely to work because you're going to have to go like straight past the zone, and that's going to be a focal point for most of the match. So that's a lot less likely to be sneaky here. Most of the time, you're just going to try and put pressure in from the right-hand side. But you want an off angle if you're taking this fight. You want somebody to get pinched in between the two of you. If all of you just run up one side, then they can all look in the same direction. So let's see how it is that you guys end up taking this fight. So right now we've got 3 on bridge. And of course it focuses on the person who is the least close to the engagement. So we go in straight from bridge. One challenge of this position is that the blob basically can't have an impact on the fight that's happening in their street. Their blobs are going to hit walls. Like, they can kind of throw them up over the top of the walls and maybe get some bank shots or something, but it's not going to be super consistent. They can't see very well, and they have to aim upwards at a weird angle so that some of the shots are probably going to miss. One of the reasons that we like the push around the right-hand side is that the blob is still able to be a factor in that fight. It's able to flush people out of this area. And if you push everybody into street, that's great. Now you can take this area, and now you can take zone, and you can kind of collapse from underneath and also from the right-hand side. And that would be Koru's job in that case, since they're playing the zone here. Knowing that there's nobody on the left-hand side, they could push through and meet you guys in the middle there. But everything that you guys set up, even if you're taking different angles, you want it to converge on the same spot. You want as many people as possible looking at that one fight so that you can win that one fight, get an advantage from that one fight, and then snowball that win, that advantage, that numbers advantage, into the other fights. Taking fights while isolated is generally to be avoided if possible. You only really want to be taking fights like that if you have a special or some other kind of advantage that you know you're going to be able to win with. So right now we go in and end up in a 1-for-1 trade. Org is also in here by themselves. That's something where we don't hear their callouts, but I would imagine at this point you'd want to be calling out like what that player should do, or that player should be calling out what fight they're in so others can collapse on it here.
What I just said was, after I died right there, I was just like, leave right now.
Gotcha.
Because I think there was still some guy there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And there was, in fact, someone there. And it looks like somebody flanks around the far right-hand side. Because you guys traded 2 over here, but we haven't seen very many people. And one of the things that should immediately, make us worried about, especially if we're this blobber player, that's Splat Squid, I think, is what's happening on my left-hand side. And sure enough, there is a flank from over there. They go down from the back. And now, at this point, Koru is completely alone. And Koru needs to recognize that. There have been a couple of X's on the screen. The blob just went down, and we're on callouts. The enemy street is not a hiding place. The enemy street is an aggressive position. And so, especially I can kind of understand, if you're worried that someone's going to chase you and you don't think anyone's going to be watching this, kind of moving through the enemy street to get to someplace safer. What is a little bit odd to me about this is the fact that somebody is jumping into this position. Right now, Koru is the only person alive. And jumping into the only person alive does 2 things. One, it puts you into a position where you're still outnumbered because they still have 3 up and you only have 2. Number 2, it reveals the position of this player. So if anyone sees that jump marker, they know that both of you guys are pretty close to this. And also we're behind enemy lines, so this is really risky. What's up?
I got stealth jump. That's why.
Stealth jump isn't going to protect you all the time, especially if they see ink going down. Because they only have to see one of you. As soon as they see one of you, they're going to move in, and then they're going to get close enough to see the stealth jump. And being outnumbered, this is still not a position that I want anyone in. I want people to be taking a position close to spawn where people spawning can move to us safely. I want us to be painting for special rather than going for picks in the middle of enemy ink. This is kind of what happens a lot in these sorts of situations that I see from the frontliners especially, is we're kind of playing it like Salmon Run. In Salmon Run, you never have map control because there are just too many opposing players who are constantly painting the map. You just cannot reasonably expect to have your color ink on the map consistently enough. And you guys are kind of swimming through areas that are in theory controlled, they're the zone of control of the enemy team in situations where you don't have to be. You could just be working from your zone of control and starting to push that back out, and that way you have escape options. From here, where do we escape to if somebody sees us? We can't run into street because that's all painted. If we run down here, we're putting ourselves in low ground, and this is also not painted. we run into the enemy spawn or we're running closer to the enemy team. There's no escape route in this corner. We have to fight it out if somebody catches us here. And if somebody notices us here and is engaging on us, that means they probably think that they have an advantage. So any engagement that gets taken here is likely to go in the enemy team's favor. We're jumping into enemy ink. This is just not a play that I ever expect to work. We're already getting dropped on here. The Booyah goes out, but they have an armor. The splash goes down immediately because they're outnumbered and they have no paint around them to run away to, so their movement is very predictable and very limited. And this Booyah is going to get shredded. And the effect of this is that instead of going 3 down once and then regrouping and being able to push the zone again, we've gone 3 down, and then before we accomplished anything, we went 2 down. And now instead of these players being able to go in and actually do something with the specials that they're pretty close to, they have to wait another like 10 seconds or something for you guys to spawn back in. And in all of that time, the enemy team, who has now had a chance to spawn in, is going to be farming special, taking map control, and they're going to be pushing their zone of control way further in than they would have had it otherwise. So this could have been a much more neutral fight if we had jumped back to spawn, tried to come back in from there, or just backed up to our own side. But because we pushed into the enemy streets and got a jump there, we're now ceding over a lot more space to the enemy team than we could have given them otherwise. So other team goes in, they pop specials, I guess, to try and clear out the remaining 2 players. They zone them out over here. I think a better idea for them would have been to throw that Booyah behind you guys and force you forward, because putting it on the zone doesn't really do much. That just signals, oh, they're looking at us. We should run away, because this is a 2v4. So let's see what happens here. We don't run away far enough, and one of us goes down. But fortunately, the other 2 are able to spawn back in time that we're able to trade a couple of back here. So this is good play by the frontliners here. As soon as they respawn, they're immediately running straight to the fight that is happening. And they're assisting with it and actually getting a couple of picks. So you have slight advantage right now. And this is an opportunity to start pushing in and getting control back. So I would say that the enemy team, they probably should have just thrown the Booyah Bomb behind those 2 players, and then they could have forced them forward onto the zone, and that would have been a more favorable fight for them. So I still don't like the positioning here to be this far forward on zone in a 2-down situation. What we want these 2 players to be doing is making sure to save their specials. This armor especially is going to be huge for being able to push back in. And I think we go down before that gets used, yeah. Dying with armor is way, way, way worse than just dying. Because now you're losing a major resource that's on a cycle-based timer that your team can use, but isn't able to use now. Koru's internet crashed, so we're letting them back in here. Okay. This might mess things up, but I'm going to do this really quick. And yeah, that made things really small. Give me just a second, because I'm maneuvering things so that I'm able to read chat and do this at the same time. I have a plan. I'm just not executing on that plan right now. So we'll blow that up a little bit more. And now we just have to scooch this out. Make it a little bit bigger. That should be pretty good. Yeah, that's close enough. All right. Slight borders here, but I'm sure we can live with that. And this lets me see the chat way more easily. So, okay. So, armor goes down, but we are through the heroic efforts of the front line, which I need to note are outnumbered here. We're able to get 1 pick on this side, 1 pick on this side, without the enemy team trading back. So this is basically a mechanical outplay. This is not something, you know, that I can say about the team play per se. You were grouped, which is good, but we did still end up taking 2 separate fights. and pushing in 2 separate directions. What we could have done, for example, was put the wall down in street, either preventing the people from tree from going up around or preventing the people from bridge from interfering, and just committed everybody to the one group of players and taken control that way. I like the idea of taking control of bridge here myself, because this gives us the ability to rotate back into this fight, so that's a good adaptation there. We come in, we get zone, and we force our way in with overwhelming force. This is a pretty good time to use the bomb rush. That forces the enemy team back and gives us a lot of paint to work with. We're able to get 2 picks. I would say this Booyah Bomb is positioned poorly because you're right up next to a wall. This limits the different places that you can throw it. If you're going to be Booyah Bombing, a couple of things. One, you want to throw it for displacement, so you especially want to force players to choose between 2 different directions and do it in such a way that different players choose different directions. You want to use it to split the team up. The Booyah that they used earlier, it only forced the enemy team back. That's about the weakest Booyah that you can possibly make. You gave them an escape route and forced them to take it, and yeah, they're not going to be able to control that area that the Booyah Bomb is on, but they wouldn't be able to anyway. This Booyah Bomb, it's probably not going to get a lot of value. Because you don't have a lot of angles you can throw it at, and there are only 2 players up, so the best that happens is you split those 2 players up, and one of them gets forced into your team. But we can't really see too much of what's going on here. We don't have reason to believe that we know where they are, so I don't think this is going to do much for you here. So we throw it up there, and no picks. What it does do, I will grant, is that it creates a little bit of space so that Lux, I think it is able to get up to here and only have a 1v1. But it is still a 1v1. We don't need to be taking 1v1s. We've got a 2-down situation. And since we end up in a 1v1 before the blob can help, before the K-52 can help, before the zap can help, that's just 1 player down, and that's going to decrease our momentum a little bit. Koru here is being threatened by this player, and there's also a baller on this side. I want Koru looking up at this player, because I think they can probably snap to this player and take them out. But what they do instead is they push further into the enemy team. At this point in time, yes, we have a numbers advantage right now, but we've just lost a player. We know that there's one up here already. And the blob is going to be a very limited help. The zap is over here. They're not in play yet. This is not the time to just be pushing hard into car. We don't have advantage. Too many of them are up. They have specials. We don't have the advantage that we need to be able to take more space right now. What you can do is laser this guy down, because you have a faster kill time than him. I think this is the zap. I think. If that's the K-52, maybe not. Was that... Oh, it was the K-52. Okay. So yeah, you do need to be dealing with that player, because what's going to happen if you push forward from here is this player is shooting you right now. This is a 1v1. As soon as you push forward, you're now in a 1v2. You're putting yourself even further away from your teammates, and you're putting yourself closer to their teammates. So you're not making this fight any better for yourself by pushing further. Question?
I would have just, if I would have played the K-52, I would just have walled myself in the corner right there and just jumped out, probably.
My thought here at this point is, Koru probably shouldn't go in there in the first place as soon as he sees Lux go down. As soon as that happens, and there's a shot being fired over here, I'm not going to get up here. There's no reason for me to get up here. I'm not going to accomplish anything up there because we don't have any advantages there. And the enemy team is respawning in. At this point, as soon as I see one go down, I'm sharking behind this wall or something. I'm still going to try and keep my map presence a little bit further forward. But moving any further forward from here, you are probably going to die. And that's something that, I can tell, obviously hindsight is 20/20, right? I can say this, oh, he died, so it was a bad idea. But even from this moment right here where a shot gets fired right here, I know 2 things. 1, a teammate of mine has gone down, so our numbers advantage is gone. 2, there is someone that is immediately watching this area. 3, as soon as I come up this ramp, I have no cover whatsoever. those 3 pieces of information should be all that we need to know that we do not want to push this any further right now, that we want to back up a little bit further and paint for specials so that then when the other team is ready to push, we are also ready to counter push. We have specials ready to counter their specials with. And we've also given our teammate enough time to jump back into us so that we're at full force at that point. So right here, we're out in the open, we have no cover. If we go up against the wall, maybe we have a little bit more cover and we're able to, like, again, jump out or something. But we have to move a little bit somewhere because the K-52 could just, like, drop on us if they see that we're trying to jump. So this part of the wall right here might be the best place to go, but it's difficult to say. I guess you guys have a bomb rush with you. If this had started, like, before you started moving up, then maybe you've got the space to work with. But with a baller up here, with crossfire from car, with someone above you, I don't really know what you can do at this point to get out alive. Do you have something to ask or add to it?
Yeah, I meant like put your splash wall in the corner.
Oh, yeah. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, and then yeah.
So something to cut off one of their angles and then use the wall to make the other angle really hard for them to hit, or just like literally hole yourself up in the corner and get out of there for sure. So now we're 2 down. The blob has also gone down because now the 2 frontliners that were trying to push in front of it have gone down, and meanwhile they've been collapsed on from multiple angles. Enemy team is going to have massive advantage here, but their K-52 pushes in completely alone with, like, this is very solo play right now. Like, they can see that they're painting an enemy ink, and yeah, they've got some support from the Crapid here, but they're pushing into a lot of green. They don't have anybody flanking on the right. It's just them. And this wall is only covering one angle. So they really need to be careful about this side right here. And you are absolutely right to take this fight and punish them for doing this. That's a huge overextension on their part. So now it's a kind of a 3v3 situation. You guys are starting to get back in. This is dropping off a ledge into enemy ink. Now, maybe you expected teammates were going to do this with you. But as soon as you land, you really only have one direction you can go, and that is the direction that you are painting on your way down. This is very predictable movement, so even if you land and there's nobody immediately watching it, they know where you have to go by just seeing what your ink trail is looking like. So this rapid is already aiming at you. Like, they know that you're there before you get up that ramp. Let's get to this point here. So, like, those shots right there probably alerted the rapid, because look at this. That shot's being fired immediately. So they knew you were here because you dropped into a predictable place and painted there, and they're able to push the fight and keep it going because they remember where you are and they do the work they need to take you out. So the problem here was the dropping off a ledge in an enemy ink part. And this area right here, like, this is something you don't want to even be pushing yet. Reason being, you don't have zones capped. So you don't have an escape route behind you. You know that you don't control that area. Push up by degrees here. Let me do a quick thing on Sendu. I think this should be the right... Nope, but we'll get there. Okay. Oh, it's just slash plans. Okay. So this is reef zones already. That's neat. And how much of this can we see? Okay, we need to scroll down a little bit. And now it should be pretty good. Yeah, this is close enough. Okay, move this out of the way. So right now, all of this, a good amount of this, is painted the enemy team's color. So in order for us to, effectively control the zones, we want to control this area around the zones. This is what enables us to be able to score, to have this much control in the area I've outlined right here. So before we want to take, let me change color really quick. Before we want to take this position, which is where Lux ends up, we want to have undone all of this control. The point of the game is to have this area under control, and we're moving up like even past that before we take it. So what happens then is when we poke up over here and realize we don't have a safe place to stand in this area and we need to back up, we back up and we have nowhere to go in here, so we get forced back into a fight that's not in our favor and we're just kind of stuck. If instead we take it a little bit slower here and get control of this first from the bridge and then get control of this and then get control of this, now this is all going to be safe, because as soon as you meet any kind of resistance in this area, you back up and you have all this ink to work with. You can swim anywhere you want to on the map. Oops, that's not it. This is where we want to be. All right. And we have a question in the chat about playing tower control. I want to focus on getting through our VOD review here for the time being, but there is some good advice that's going down in chat, and I can maybe talk about that a little bit in between the VOD reviews. So let's keep going here. Okay. So K52 feeds in. Did they have special when they did that? That would be especially unfortunate. No, they lost a good amount of their special charge. They were like 3/4 there, but yeah, what they really should have been doing there, because 2 down is an advantage, but it's not, you know, you're going to be able to cap the zone. You don't need to worry about that. You don't need to push them all the way out yet. Take paint first and paint yourself escape routes, then go in for an aggressive play. Because right now they're going so far in that they're not covering themselves. So we take them out, and then Lux drops here, and maybe there was a call out to meet on the other side, but I don't see anybody meeting you on this side, so this is a solo play into street. So there's this angle right here. There's the angle behind you. There's the angle from your left that someone could, in theory, shoot you from right now. And if you send a teammate in on the right-hand side, they can cover 1 or 2 of those angles and make sure you only have to focus on a certain thing. But from here, you're basically just hoping that they're not looking. And they do happen to be looking. Your team still doesn't quite have control of the zones either. So, and as one of the strongest painting weapons on your team, that's something that you are in a disproportionately strong place to kind of help with. Because this Rapid Blaster is not there to paint the zone. This Rapid Blaster is there to get picks. So it's really just your whole team versus like one other player who can paint pretty well. You guys can get the zone capped now, start scoring now, and then go for aggressive plays once you're actually scoring. Because I don't know if you actually end up even getting cap at this point. You do, but then you go 1 down. So now your team is in a 4v3, and they have to somehow win this 4v3 if they're going to keep zone long enough to even get through penalty. 1-for-1 trade, so that's going to go in favor of the other team. And you guys do actually trade well here, I think. So we win this fight ultimately because Lux is able to get back into play. So what happens here? Because they've got someone on the other side of you, and they're pinching. Like they shouldn't be dying here. Like the Rapid really doesn't need to be up that close. Like they see someone right there in the middle of the wall. So the Rapid should be backing up so they're out of range. Like, and they can hit over the ledge here with their AoE. So I would fault the Rapid here specifically for getting too close to the 52 in this fight. Because this does not have to be a trade, I think, for them. They have a 3v1 situation. The fact that you guys got a 1-for-1 is a gift. And then
I think he just got too greedy and went for the direct somehow through the wall or something. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hit this and then okay. Sorry. I was pressing the spacebar to try and pause, and it was not pausing. It was using the down arrow key for whatever reason. So sorry about that. But yeah, I guess maybe they're going for the direct, but they really don't need to. Like they can see that they've got teammates in front of them. So all they really need to do is like roll a torpedo at one side, or like throw a torpedo behind it, or like shoot at the wall. Like they have a bunch of options for flushing this guy out so that the teammates can deal with it. and they kind of just get way too close and end up going down to it. So 1-for-1 trade. Good job capitalizing on their mistake there, Koru. And now we throw a bomb off of this wall to get the K-52, which is great. They're running it too fast, basically. They know that they have an advantage, but they're not capitalizing it on it in a safe way, and you guys are getting some good trades back out of that. So it ends up being a 2-for-2 in the end. And we drop down into enemy ink here. Okay, well, you've got support from Lux, and that's why this works out. That was a little bit... it's a little bit risky to do that drop, but it's not as bad as it could have been, especially if you know you've got help. So like right now, you know that the Knot doesn't have charge, and you can take cover down here. So that's pretty good, and you did enough damage here that the Neo Splash is able to follow up. So definitely not a terrible play there. I think you're dropping in knowing that you're going to have cover, knowing that if you need to back up, you're going to be able to back away. Are you going to be able to back all the way up? What's the status of the zone? Yeah, you guys have the backside zone. So you guys should know here. Oh, no, you don't have the backside zone. Well, you got enough of it. Yeah. So you're going to be able to back away. I'm fine with that drop. That doesn't end up causing you too many problems here. So now Lux needs to be a little bit careful. You do have one forward. Never mind. Do you? Yeah, you do. So what happens here? So Lux... It's kind of hard to see. But okay, someone moves in through... Probably Koru, I would think, through their streets to try and take a position up front over there. This might be a little bit overzealous. It looks like we're able to get lodged in there. No, we're not. So again, taking downstairs like that, taking that position is really risky if you don't have a lot of people watching it. You need people covering from multiple angles. Because the enemy team has high ground on you. They have some blind corners that they can right side peek you around. Getting up in there in and of itself is not necessarily the most important thing to be doing right now. What you need to be doing is slowing them down from getting to zone. And going down immediately is going to get them to zone faster. So if you're going to go into that lockout mode, unless you like get a hard wipe and you're already in their street, maybe just set up in their street. Maybe throw a wall out there, draw some aggro, try and get a pick, and then after you've gotten more picks, after you've gotten advantage a second time, maybe then move up to their car. But the space in between their street and their car isn't super advantageous. Like we keep ending up in there and we keep getting picked for it. So like anywhere from this ramp to this platform all the way over until we're at car, you don't want to stay there. You want to be moving from one place to another if you're going to go there. So right now, given that they have a special and they're only down by one player, I would want to be positioning a little bit more conservatively instead of going straight in. Were you going to add something?
Yeah, I wasn't, so as you can see, I was just painting that time because last time I got punished for pushing in.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem I had was that I saw Koru still pushing in, and so all I tried to do was just fucking paint where he could go, or maybe outpaint the enemies so they couldn't like do anything to him.
Yeah, and Lux,
But
you
then I
individually
saw the
are...
armor.
I don't think you're doing anything wrong here. I like you painting the left closed there, because that gives your team warning as soon as anybody shows up there. What I object to is Koru pushing up as far as Koru did, because you're not in a position yet where you can support him, and he's going to be more impactful if he's in the way than if he's putting himself out in the open and just getting picked in a 1v3.
Yeah.
This is also really good. You hear that a teammate is fighting on the left-hand side. You come back, you get a pick. You are... So what happens here? So we know that the rapid is on the left somewhere. So we get this pick. What we want to be doing right now is getting our camera flipped backwards as quickly as we can, because we knew that there were other players here. And as soon as a fight breaks out, you have to expect in a coordinated environment that starting one fight is going to lead to other people collapsing on that. So knowing that you just got one pick and that there were other players that were nearby, you want to be getting information about that sooner than you do right here when it's like, oh, there's a Nautilus with armor who's looking at me and also a baller. You want to be getting your camera back instead of like immediately focusing the zone, because one pick is not going to be enough to hold it here. The priority with the zone is like, obviously if you can get a cap, then sometimes there's a case for doing that at all costs, but most of the time focus the fights, and as long as you have map control from the fights, the zone will follow. So if you're like in a position where you're contesting the zone against them, yeah, there may be a tactical advantage to being able to paint one of the zones so that you get paint at your feet immediately, but most of the time, like, painting to try and contest the zone while it's contested is a holding pattern to get specials. You're painting over the zone so that you can get your bomb rush and use the bomb rush to force them away. You're not just going to try and like cap the zone to cap it if they're already looking at it and looking at you, because that's going to make you a little more vulnerable. So, this is a really fast decision that you have to make here. In this case, I'm looking at the wrong thing, because at first, like, you have no reason to believe that there's anybody here because you don't have that information, because you don't turn your camera quite as quick. But in general, like, what I'm seeing from the team is that they're getting up to like here before you control any of this space. And that's generally leading to you being stuck when the enemy team pushes you in this direction. And you guys like have nowhere to go, and you have to like mechanically outplay them in order to maintain your spot on the zone. Just like focus on, okay, they're in our spawn, let's get control of this, and then let's get control of this, and then let's get control of this, and then let's get control of this, then this, and then this, and move across the map in stages like this. That way, if you get contested here, you back up into the zone you already painted. If you get contested here, you can back up into the zone you already painted. If you get contested here, you can back up into like this area where you're probably going to have teammates in spawn who can shoot down and help you. Like, every time that you move up, you want to make sure that before you move any further, you have an escape route behind you so that you have the option not to take a fight. Because zones, you're scoring even if you're not fighting them. Like, if you are able to just successfully stand here and here the entire match and not let them get past these two players, it doesn't matter what your KA is at all. It doesn't matter that you got players down. Waiting while you have control of the zone is an advantage state for you. All of the extra time that they have to spend gathering specials and whatnot, like, yeah, maybe you could, in some cases, get up so close to them that you can pick them and stop that from happening, but it's still to your advantage that they're having to spend that extra time doing it because the zone is ticking down in the meantime. Now, if the zone isn't ticking down in the meantime, being here loses a lot of its value offensively. Even if we're not talking about, your own safety, the fact that you don't have the zone but you're pushed up here means that if you want the zone, you have to turn backwards. You have to turn your back to your opponents to paint it. And this also means that during this time that you're fighting and maybe getting drawn into engagement over here, the zone might be ticking down for your opponents. And when you win that fight, instead of the fight being over the zone, you're having to backtrack all the way back here, paint the zone again, and then get back into position. And that's sacrificing space. So being further forward doesn't give you any advantages. It makes you less safe. You're forward enough that you're past the objective, and so you're not exerting as much control over that as you could be. We need to be taking one thing at a time here and playing for fights before we take zone, especially when we're in front of the zone, is going to result in stuff like this happening a lot of the time. So we're 3 down, and then it looks like another one goes down. Yeah, okay, they're able to track down the blob. That's unfortunate. Sometimes, especially as a slower firing weapon, it's difficult to get out of there when your whole team goes down. But that is a little bit of a stagger too, that now the blob is just going to spawn a little bit later than the other shooters are.
Yeah, he tried to jump, and I think on his screen it even looked like he jumped like 5 meters in the air. But yeah.
So it happens, and like they had the right idea. They knew they had to just get out of there. So, okay. So the priority right now is not to take fights. The priority right now is to get specials. They are going to get lead. We as a team need to accept that that is going to happen. We just simply do not have enough time to both win a fight and take the zone. If we're trying to push for the zone right now to stop them from getting lead, we're putting ourselves into like 3 advantageous fights in a row to get there. We're like running through enemy ink. We're trying to play salmon run if we're going to do that. We do not want to contest yet. What we want to do is look at all the blue out here on the map and be like, ooh, yummy, I'm going to eat that for special charge. We want to look at the area out here on the right and say like, oh, none of this is painted. I'm going to get special from this. And once we have 2 specials, we want to use those specials now that we've given our team time to respawn to push back in and get a pinch angle on where the defending team is at. Hopefully, you know, we pop armor and then someone drops from here, someone drops from here. The players that are in street get pinched between the 2 of them, and we either get picks or force them way back to a position that can't affect the zone, and then we go and take the zone from there. That's kind of the game plan. So here's the armor, and we drop down from here, and it looks like we've got some people coming in from the right. So right now we're able to take out the Rapid, which is great. The Inkjet is now going to be a threat, and we appropriately focus that. Good job to Koru. You know, an Inkjet in that kind of a position, we either need to take a position where we can avoid it, avoid its line of sight, like we did by taking the fight all the way under the bridge, or we need to remove it. And so good job counterplaying that. That was a really solid fight from what little of it we could see. Well played. So now we've got a Booyah Bomb ready to go. And again, I want Koru getting up to a position where this Booyah Bomb can see anything. From right here, there are only so many places he can throw this. But if he gets up onto bridge, he's got the high ground where he can see anywhere he could possibly want to throw that thing. I generally think that the K-52 should just be taking bridge more often because its wall is going to make it easier for it to hold that. And again, you know, with its extra range compared to most other weapons on the team, with its Booyah Bomb that it wants high ground to be able to use, I think that's going to be a stronger position for it than trying to play the low ground over here. This is more of a Neo Splash kind of move. This is more of a, I need lots of cover in blind corners to allow me to get close to weapons that outrange me. The K-52 doesn't need that as much. The K-52 can use its wall for cover. The K-52 can outrange a lot of the weapons that are on... Okay, one of the weapons that are on the enemy team. I guess they have a fairly long-range comp here, but it can kind of stand out on the open a little bit more, and that's what makes it a better candidate for taking bridge. But from right here, the Booyah seems like it's going to have pretty limited utility. So here comes the Booyah, and it just kind of gets thrown at a wall. They're going to back up from that really easily. That's going to stall them for maybe 2 seconds. And that 2-second stall is not worth the 5-second charge time that you had actually activating the Booyah Bomb. Again, what you want to be doing is taking a big wide open sightline so that you can see a whole enemy position and use it to kind of wedge in between multiple players. So let me draw on the map so we can get a little bit of geometry here. So this Booyah goes like right here. Most of the Booyah is just on space that the map, that's like inaccessible on the map. You're only really controlling this spot right here. This player is going to back up like 3 steps, and they're going to be away from this. That's probably not where it was intended to be thrown. I'm guessing... Whoops. I don't know what happened there. That can go away. So it was probably intended to be thrown like right here, which is a little bit better. But again, they're going to have a corner in this direction, a corner in this direction. They're going to be able to run back in this direction. They have a lot of ways they can run away from this, and without anybody else forcing them to go into the Booyah Bomb, it's just going to displace them for a few seconds. What you're really looking for is a situation... So let's say you throw the Booyah from here, and you see that there are enemy players grouping like in maybe these 2 locations. If you throw the Booyah Bomb on like this spot right here, this is very likely to force this player off in this direction and this player over here, where this guy right here, yeah, they're still safe, but they cannot protect this player who's not safe. And then your team rushes in and takes this guy out, and now you've won yourself a numbers advantage with this Booyah Bomb. you want to like get to the best booyah bombs make at least 2 different players run in 2 different directions. If you've accomplished that, and one of those players has run in the direction of your teammates, that's best case scenario. That's what gets you easy picks. Because like someone who's just focusing on getting out of the radius of the approaching booyah bomb here, they're not paying attention to taking cover. They're probably going to go down if you've got teammates looking from this direction, or even when you land, you can look in this direction and probably get them from there because they don't have paint at their feet and they're fleshed out from cover. So stop putting yourself on walls when you're booyah bombing. You don't want to be in any of these locations when you're booyah bombing. You want to be in a position like this where you can see everything, or maybe not up here because they'll be able to punish that on landing, but like maybe hereabouts. Maybe even like someplace like here if your team is able to protect you up that far. These places let you see everywhere you would want to throw a booyah bomb, and it also gives you information about the enemy team that you can use to know where to throw the booyah bomb. All right. This is definitely overzealous on Koru's part, so let's back up. So we throw the booyah bomb, it hits the wall. So this is a rapid blaster, and we know that from the first shot. Rapid blaster outranges us. K-52 does not reach this. So trying to jump and continue to take shots here, that's just committing us so hard that our feet are going to get painted and we're not going to get out before the rapid hits us. Actually, the rapid didn't finish the fight. It was somebody else. Rapid definitely should splat you for that, though. So teammate came and followed it up. Same difference. We're scrolled a little bit up. So Koru goes down. They get in with a baller, but they're 1 down, so this might still be winnable. We'll see what happens. The armor is huge. The armor might save this fight here against Goldeb. It does. So we do a good job of calling this guy out, teaming up on them. Their feet are painted. They have no way in. We finish that off. Their booyah bomb doesn't do an awful lot because the fight we're trying to get into is away from that booyah bomb. It shouldn't do a lot. What ends up happening is Lux gets the pick and then immediately turns and tries to run towards the zone, not realizing that the booyah bomb got thrown there. There are audio cues that can cue you in that there is a booyah bomb out there. And as soon as that happens, like, you want to be listening to your game audio like, okay, how close is this to me? Even if you turn your back to it, you can know, like, roughly how close it is to you and how careful to be about it by listening to that audio cue. That's one of the most important audio cues in the game because that can literally just kill you if you miss it and makes this special a lot less useful if you don't miss it.
I had literally that moment where you just see the booyah and you see it expand and then expand and expand and expand and it never seems to stop, and I'm just like, okay, I can't run away anymore. So yeah, that was the moment.
So what I'm very specifically referring to, this is a little mechanical thing, but so the pick happens right here. If you just stand right here, the booyah bomb won't even hit you. What happens is, like, you run forward before you know where the booyah bomb is, and that's what gets you into trouble. Like, I don't blame you for, like, not being able to react in time. What I blame you for is moving toward it when you had the audio cue that it was there and you didn't have the information to know how close it was to you yet. So, like, the error is happening, like, before you start moving toward it, not that, like, once you start moving toward it, there was actually something you could have done about it.
Yeah,
like
I think
right
it
here,
just
as soon as there's booyah noises, like, I need to back up a little bit.
Yeah, I think the problem which I had was like...
Oh, there's also the K-52 here, which might be scaring you away in that direction. You can probably just run straight away from it and not get hit by the booyah bomb instead of running toward it. You know, like, you don't need to get around this corner to be safe, but that does throw a wrench in things a little bit.
Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't logic that the K-52 threw its booyah not like onto zone or bridge, but like in this kind of weird spot which was like in between everything, and that's just kind of And then it was suddenly in front of me, yeah.
Mhm.
And that was the problem.
Yeah, like, and again, you know, I wouldn't predict that they would throw a Booyah Bomb there. Like, I agree that it's unexpected. But it doesn't have to be an expected place to throw a Booyah Bomb for you to avoid that.
Yeah.
There is definitely a way out of that situation if you just collect information after you get a pick. That's something that Kiver talks a lot when he streams. He talks a lot about when you get a pick as a Slayer, like you've done your job, and you're probably damaged from getting that pick, which means if you rush into another fight, you're not very likely to have as much success doing that because you're damaged, and they already know where you are from the other player having ouched. So like, take your pick, heal up in the ink, gather more information, and then after that decide what to do next. And I think if you take a second after this pick to like get yourself someplace safe and assess where to push next, that you probably notice the Booyah Bomb in time and get out of it. Oop. And once again, here, let's, there we go. Okay. So we end up trading, what happens there? So you go down, and then Splat Squid is over here. Org also went down, I think, to the K-52 that time. But then they drop down on top of a bomb and don't do enough to avoid it. This, I think, is a mistake on the part of their K-52. Like, hearing that there's a bomb rush, this is a big overcommitment to just walk and shoot in this fight. Like, they need to see this bomb and just run away from it and know, okay, they're wasting a bomb rush. This bomb rush is not going to end up on zone at all. So I can just back up, take the zone while they're, you know, worried about me. And, you know, maybe you put a wall in the way so that bombs hit the wall instead of hitting the zone, you know? But they can go back and, like, start capping zone right now because they know that it's pretty safe over there. Continuing to pursue this, number one, like, this bomb is immediately going to apply zoning pressure and force them somewhere they don't want to be. They're going to have to be over here, which doesn't give them a lot of ways out. And number two, they're standing and shooting for too long. They're taking a lot of damage in the meantime. So we do punish them for this, and we end up with sorry. So you guys end up wiped as a result of this right here. There's no earthly way that I know what happened to Koru there. So we'll skip talking about that for now. They cap zone, and they're going to start moving up. And this, I think, is like the right order to be doing things, what they're doing here. They're taking the fight over zone, they're getting zone, and then they're only just getting up to you guys' street. But, like, points are ticking down. This is an advantageous position for them. They're not overcommitting to this fight. This Zap is realizing they're in trouble. You do manage to pursue it. Their teammate probably could cut you off here, because you're on an island of your color ink. If they send one person after you right now, they should be able to get you. But you're able to get yourself out of there. But you have to commit pretty hard to getting yourself out of there. So you probably don't have as much information right now. Okay, so now we're deciding to push bridge. You notice that there's someone on the right and peel off, but nobody goes with you. Let's see how that goes. Okay, you go down. So this is... You had like 3 players and a special, and you were pushing the enemy team over here. But instead you committed to a 1v1. And so instead of using the numbers advantage that you had... you end up losing this 1v1. I think this is a K gal, which is going to, you know, have some advantages over you there. And it takes your teammate going down there to trade back. I think from here, we want to keep pushing with our teammates. Like, we don't want to, like, just commit to dropping off a ledge or something and immediately separating ourselves from them yet. Because, like, they're still on bridge. They're still focused on bridge. Like, it looks like... they don't even know that you're over here. It sounds like you or it looks like you haven't called that out, and we don't know that for sure. But the fact that they're not even like looking in this direction, like you're kind of taking away an advantage that you could have had, in that they could like be watching the same thing that you are. If there's a blob like cutting off one of their escape routes, and then you push around the right hand side with a bomb rush, this guy goes down for sure. But then...
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do with the bomb rush. to cut off the left hand, and I actually killed him with one of the bombs then.
Oh, okay. Let's take a look here. So it looked like so Koru drops down here, and to me it looked like Koru got it at the end, but it looks like, okay, so bomb ends up getting it. But in the meantime, someone has gone down on the bridge because they were only 2 at that point, and the enemy team popped a special. I do not want Koru poking in at that. This is a 2v2 situation. They have a special out. You guys are at a disadvantage. Like, as soon as they see Org running away from this, like, yeah, you're a K52. You have a little bit more pushing power in that you have a wall. But as a general rule, if your teammate is running away from something, that probably means you should also run away from that thing. Koru is forced to booyah for safety here. And that is a booyah bomb that could have been used as like a counter pushing measure or something to get more out of this team fight. Looks like we do isolate one on the left-hand side. If Splat Squid can get in there, this can be a 2v1, but Koru might be engaging it too early here. Yeah, they do engage it too early. Koru needed to wait for Splat Squid to actually start applying pressure, and then they probably could have gone in on that. But as it was, the Nautilus is going to win that with their superior kill time. Maybe, and Koru also probably could have stalled that out, even if they got out in the open, by having a wall out there in the first place. If they do that, then they probably have time to duck behind cover. But without that, Nautilus just lasers them down. So Blob is able to get this pick. That's actually a really aggressive drop, so I would assume that they knew something that I didn't about the positioning there or the amount of paint that was at their feet or something. That's not something I would usually expect to work, but it pans out for them, so I won't question it. They get dropped on by the K52, but that's a drop into enemy ink. One would hope that this gets shredded. That was definitely shreddable. As soon as that booyah happens, you've got like 3 players around it. So right here, I'm calling shred.
Shredded. But it was like at the last second, so we couldn't kill him in afterwards.
Yeah, there was only one player who was shooting at that there. It looks like it was Lux.
I think it got shredded at the end, but like too late.
Yeah, like Koru is still Koru's far enough away from the booyah bomb that they can keep shooting at this and still have room to back up if it gets thrown. So Koru probably could have been shooting it a little bit longer. It doesn't end up getting shredded. The K52 is not down. That was a pretty free pick, I would say, given the situation like over here, because you've got 3 people on that. Yes, it's a blob, but they're close enough to the ground. This is something that like everybody should just be like immediately working on shredding so that the booyah can't go off in the first place. So the bomb rush goes out, and we're a little bit split up, but the bomb rush is going to buy us some space. We definitely need a whole bunch of blobs out here because the utility of the blobber here is to flush other players out of hiding. You don't have a lot of paint around you, but you get lines of blobs down, and you're going to figure out where they are pretty quick because they're going to have to move away from the blobs. So that'll make the other players' positions clear, and then the frontliners can mop them up after that. We don't want the blob to be like further forward than everybody. We want them to be back, and this is why, because a K52 who gets on top of them is going to win that fight every time. And this is another situation where we focused the zone here, but we didn't have control of the area behind the zone yet. And so now the K52 gets 2, and we're not actually capped right now. We could be scoring at the moment. They're going to get a fight win and cap that pack. So again, the lesson to learn here is focus on focus on the area that you need to control the zone, and then take the zone, and then focus on the area in front of it. Doing that out of order leads to you guys losing fights and getting separated. So Koru gets this pick and then does the frontliner thing where I got a pick, I'm going to move forward. Again, take Kiver's advice, get the pick, and then assess the situation. You don't have anyone rushing forward with you. Getting the pick and rushing forward is great if you have a numbers advantage or a special advantage or map control. You do not have any of those things. And so holding forward here is just going to alert you to 3 enemy members, and you're going to go down right away. Will a blob with bubbles as a special be considered good? That came to mind. Oh, you mean in Splatoon 3? Well, we'll talk about the hypothetical stuff after we're done with the VOD review here. I thought that was a question about the VOD review. My bad. Okay. So we've only got 15 seconds left in the match. So that's a really good play from the Nautilus. Almost gets a pick there, forces someone back, and they're able to gain control of Bridge from that. Now they have armor, and they go right into Inkjet. This is a really smoothly played push from Midnight Chaos right now. But unfortunately, it looks like their K-52 went down. What happened there? Armor goes out. Armor is out. I have no idea where the K-52 is.
I think Splat Squid and I could engage him, and I killed him on the right.
Okay, nice. So they get one with their armor inkjets. There's someone on their jump, so you guys are able to camp that. So they're 2 down right now. And now would be a great time to just cap the zone and end the overtime. Let's see. So there's still 2 players out on the map. One of them got splatted. That was the K-52, so they're not in play yet. But there's one over here, I think, and one over here. Splat Squid and Org end up like with this player behind them, and this is something they should probably focus if it's posing any kind of threat. Like, okay, it looks like Org actually goes and focuses on the K-52 as they jump in. Yeah, because there are 2 over here, so Org goes over to this side. Yeah, so Splat Squid, I agree with what Splat Squid does, knowing what's going on over there. It looks like the team has decided to focus this fight. So what Splat Squid does is they throw a couple of blobs, but they keep the cover in between them and the zap, and they make sure to move off the zone so that even if they go down to the zap, they're not going down on the zone. And in the meantime, we win the fight over the area that matters more, because now the zap has to shoot off the zone, and you guys are able to cap it by winning the fight that you won with that numbers. So I think the way that you played that scrap at the end is pretty good. You focused on just one fight, put all of your resources toward that fight as much as you possibly could. That gave you the advantage. You won that fight. You got the zone. You won the game. So let's take a quick look at scores. And there we go. Okay, I see you, Lux, picking the game where you got a 19 KA. I see you. I see. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. So
Yeah.
clearly doing some good slaying. Definitely, I think if you know, because it looks like you're making some plays where you're mechanically outplaying the opponents, and that's part of the reason that you're able to hold as well as you are. Like, there were multiple fights where I said, like, this was a mechanical outplay. This wasn't necessarily a strategic outplay. Strategic outplays are what you're looking for, because you will eventually run into a team that is more cracked than you are. You know, you'll eventually run into some 14-year-old kid who's snorting G Fuel who can just run circles around you. And when that happens, what's going to give you the advantage that they don't have is your ability to fight as a team, to be coordinated, to take the same fights, to have a game plan, to use your specials, to give yourselves advantages. Rig the game in your favor instead of trying to win a fair fight. Normally, you know, I look at a high KA number and I go, what that means is that either like I was hard carrying the team, or we weren't capitalizing on the fights that we were winning. This high KA means the game dragged on for a long time. It means that the objective pushes were scrappy and short, that lots of lives were exchanged in exchange for any map control that was ever given up. Because a really fast, dominant game ends with very low KA that is exclusively given to one team. So like, you really got bodied if the other team is like 3-3, 2-2, and you guys have zeros down the KA, and it ended in 40 seconds. That's what the real like dominant scoreboard looks like. So this was very, very scrappy. This was very close from these numbers. And that means that there's probably more that you guys can do to be like looking at the game state and recognizing what areas of the map you need to control based on that game state, so that your lockouts last longer and that your pushes back in are going to succeed more consistently. Because if you're outplaying the other team as hard as these KA numbers show, then we should be getting more out of that than a really close, like, overtime win of 7 points or whatever it was. So, do you guys have any questions for me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Near the beginning of the match, I pushed their street, and you said that I really shouldn't have done that. I'm wondering how am I supposed to play aggressively with the K-52? Because I see professionals like Kiver and Skit making aggressive plays like that, where they flank the other team.
Is it this play right here?
Yeah.
You're talking about?
Yeah.
So flanking is, like, taking this position isn't necessarily bad in a vacuum. What was weak about it was that you didn't have an escape route in either direction. You didn't have any support from your teammates, and they were able to kind of collapse you and pin you down so that they had one player on each side of you. This kind of a play works if your team is pushing in with you. This kind of a play works if you have some sort of like numbers advantage or special advantage or something. But without any sort of advantage, because you are literally completely alone here. All that has happened so far is your team has gone 3 down, and then one player has jumped into you and died. This is just a 1v3 that you're ending up in. And I would think that even Kiver would say not to end up in a 1v3. So the problem isn't that you took this position necessarily. The problem is that you took this position in this context. The problem is that you took this position when you didn't have control of this space, or you didn't have control of space anywhere near it. The problem is that you're at a numbers disadvantage here, that the Booyah is only going to be shredded because they're all going to spawn in this position. So even that's not like a get out of jail free card. Just the fact that you took this position and Kiver takes this position doesn't mean that Kiver would take this position at this time.
So there's a problem with the fundamentals of the push, right?
This is not a time where your team can push. If your team is trying to push in this position that we see on the map right now, you're in a 1v3 against an enemy team that has 2 specials charged. This is a push that, like, maybe if you're like, you know, an X rank player in a C rank lobby, that sort of a push works. But this is just not the time to push. And pushing is not your only job as a frontliner. Right now, what you want to be doing is painting up so that when it is time to push, when you do have an advantage, when you're in the neutral again and you're not at a significant disadvantage, then you have the resources to make that push a push that has overwhelming force. But you need to turn off the part of your brain that's saying, I need to go aggro, I need to go aggro, I need to go aggro, because that part of your brain is stopping you from thinking about context. It's stopping you from looking at the map and seeing, oh, I'm the last one up. The way that I get a successful push in the fastest is by not pushing right now and waiting for my teammates to be able to back that up.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully that's helpful. All right.
If I can ask, how would I go about making more aggressive plays with the K-52?
Making more aggressive plays. So the K-52 is a relatively independent weapon. It's able to do a lot of things at slight disadvantages that other weapons couldn't. This is not a slight disadvantage, and that's why I don't recommend it. But if this were like, it's you against like 2 players and they're both shorter range than you and you have a bunch of paint behind you, like, you wouldn't necessarily need to back up. You could try and hold your ground and throw down a wall and see if they isolate themselves so that you can shoot at one of them while the other one has to hit your wall first. You could go for little things like that. This weapon doesn't push up as fast as a zippy frontline weapon like a Neo Splash or a T-Tech does. Like, those weapons can often just hold forward because they have the mobility to do that, and they're going to be playing around cover anyway. But with your wall, you can be a little bit more methodical about it. You can throw a wall out, paint the area in front of it. If that area isn't contested, then you move a little bit forward and put another wall out to make sure you don't get bombed off your own wall, and just kind of keep going and ratchet your way up into the enemy spawn until you start taking aggro. And then you call the rest of your team in because you're going to be skirmishing that really well with the splash wall. If you need to back up, you can swim a little ways away and then pop booyah if you need to. But you're going to be a little bit more slow and steady pushing in with the K-52. You're not going to be like the fastest player to move forward, but you're going to be the player that controls your space most effectively once you are pushed up that far. And that's kind of the way that you want this to work. So maybe think about it like you and Lux work together where Lux may move up a little bit faster, but then once you're in that position, like you take an off angle and you hold that position, and now you've got to pinch with Lux wherever Lux decides to push. Maybe that's the way that you can organize it. If you're going to be the lead frontliner, then you just need to have in mind a stopping point, a trigger in your head that says, okay, this is as far as I can safely push. Now I need to put the wall up so that the wall will be up before I am contested. And then you play off of that. And then you can get paint control all around you, and you've completely locked that position in. But here, let me draw it, because I think this is a useful drawing. So, like, what another weapon has to do that doesn't have wall is they're here. They have to control this space before it's safe for them to push up. So they paint this space, and then they push up to here. And then they paint this space, and then they push up. What you can do as a K-52 is you can just draw a single line, put a wall here, and then paint all of this. And that way you have the ability to push up still somewhat quickly, but you're protected while you're painting. And so you can move up a little bit faster, make it safe for you to paint, and then you have the escape routes and everything you need. And then you can just draw another line and put up another wall or something if that's helpful to you. But at this point in time, like, you're still controlling the same amount of space as somebody who had to paint all of this first and then move to the front of it. So hopefully that's a helpful way of thinking about it.
I just playing the K-52 too much like a Neo Splash.
What was that?
Am I just playing it too much like I would a Neo Splash?
It's possible. I would say that even as a Neo Splash, these two plays right here are not something that you want to be doing, because they put you out without cover in the middle of, like, a place where you know that enemy players are going to be coming out. Even as a Neo Splash, I'd want to be staying closer to these walls and using these for cover on my way up, and I'd only want to be pushing forward to a position like this once I know that I'm not just going to immediately get shot out by the Rapid Blaster who's taking this angle. I think even with the Neo Splash, like, you want to get a pick and then think, what do I do next? Collect information and then act on that. Figure out where the next fight is at. Heal up. Like, do things before you just hold forward that are based on the information that you have won yourself time to figure out about the state of the game.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to check Discord. I don't have any messages. It's already...
I just wanted to ask if for, like, any advice on us as a team, like, I don't know, like some kind of basic rules or something, like how we could, like, easily make us work more together to, like, lock onto one target at the same point of time and stuff.
It's all going to be comms in that sort of situation. So one thing that will help is doing what I mentioned before, where you focus on taking chunks of the map like this, and you only move forward to the next one once you have control of the first one. That's going to give your team a general sense of direction. Like, we are moving this way as a team. So if I am here and my teammate is here, they are further forward than me, and I move up to support them. You can kind of start putting together what your general path is going to be. So, for example, if I come out in this direction, once we get control of this area, I move up to here. or I move up to here. And these are my two options. And I make the choice between those two paths depending on where the fight is. So if there's a fight over here, I move over to there to help it. If there's a fight over here, I move there to help it. You know, so there's some individual decision making that will help you guys stay closer together, but also just calling out like pushing tree, help tree, something like that will make it clear that, okay, this is the area that I'm focusing on, which means if somebody takes a fight elsewhere on the map, that fight is going to be unsupported, and also we're going to have a higher likelihood of success if we push this way. So that's going to draw more of your teammates to look at that sort of thing. Just quick call outs like help here will be really huge for getting everyone looking at the same place.
Okay, thanks.
Also, game planning. Just talk before the set, like looking at what the map list is going to be and go, okay, on reef zones, where do we go? Like I can tell you right now on reef zones, what I want to do is I want to do this flank and help support people who are pushing in this direction on bridge. And usually what happens when we do that is the people on bridge force someone in this direction, and I'm able to either get an off-angle pick on them right here, or they get forced into this corner, and I'm able to distract this player while the teammates from bridge are able to take them out. And while my teammates from bridge are taking them out, I can cover them in this direction, and then we sweep through and take their street, and by that time we probably have control of zone if the fight has gone that well. Like, I have all of that just ready to go before I even spawn into the map. That is what my game plan is as a short-range shooter. So have those kinds of game plans. Then on lockout, I'm going to be sharking around here and here for the first lockout. If we get a pick while we're already at an advantage state, that's when I start to move into car and I start sharking under these ledges, under this ledge, just anywhere that I can catch someone as they're dropping, have a bomb dropped on them or inkjet over the top. That's where I want to be. Like, I have all of those game plans in my head already. And if you talk about that before the game starts, people are more likely to follow up with each other and take the right fights.
Okay.
All right. I really do have to get moving on to the next one here because I need to leave by about a half hour from now, and I don't want to shortchange Alesha on their VOD review. So thank you guys so much for submitting your footage. I am going to have to call it on that for now. Always feel free to just reach out if you ever have more questions.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was fun, and see ya.
See ya.
Thank you for the help.
Absolutely. Okay. There we go. So this is Whast'n, another team. Alesha has not made it into our chat here, so I'm just going to be speaking. I will, speak to them using second-person pronouns, but I'm not actually talking to anybody. So, the very first thing I want to talk about here is the comp, because I really do not like this comp for you guys.
Jim, just 1 second. The
Yes?
corner of the green screen is not fully covering.
It's that side. Okay. So let's get that over here, and we'll mess with this a little bit. Wrong side.
There you go.
Okay, that's better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so going back to it, I do not like this comp for you guys. This is a Rainmaker map, and you only have one lethal bomb. You are completely surrendering any chance that you could possibly have of getting pop in the opening, and you're making it much, much more difficult for you guys to ever get pop against this comp even later on in the game. Meanwhile, they have a sploosh, which absolutely shreds the Rainmaker shield as a main weapon. It also has a splat bomb. They have a suction bomb. They have a second suction bomb. The only non-lethal they have is a burst bomb. In comparison, you have a wall and a toxic mist. So you're completely giving up pop. You're completely giving up mid-control. And I don't think that's something that you guys have to do. You guys are competitive players. I think you're capable of flexing to weapons that have the lethal bombs to make it so that you have better control over the Rainmaker here. So that's the first thing I would say. Like, yeah, Toxic Mist isn't bad for slowing the Rainmaker carrier down, but it's also not, like, a lot of the time what you do with Toxic Mist is you throw a Toxic Mist and then you throw a bomb in front of them. And so they can't move away from the bomb and they get splatted. You only have one bomb to throw, and it's a suction bomb. They get through the Toxic Mist before you can throw a bomb or anything. So you're really relying on your team to be able to get in range to shoot them at line of sight with this comp. And I'm not sure how easy that's going to be. So we know that we're giving up pop, so we just drop into trench here. And we're really split because we've got one member on the far left. We've got two people who stayed on the bridge and someone actually contested the bridge. If you don't drop here, because, I mean, you can look at the comps and probably know, especially since they have 4 object shredders, that you are not getting this pop. So at this point, just throw up a wall on the bridge and try and use that as a vantage point. Because being forced down into trench, being forced like to right lockers or something, it's taking you far enough out of play that if the Rainmaker just gets grabbed right here, you are just not stopping them at all. Like, sure, maybe you're going to be able to farm for special here, but imagine they get these 2 picks on the left-hand side. They could just pick it up and go. So this is not where I would want to be. I would want to continue to try and hold plat. Because another risk of, what could happen, now that you've got 1 on left and you've only got 2 on plat, they've gotten 1 on plat. If they get this other 1 on plat and pick it up, they just go across bridge and hit the rail. And now you're having to shoot up at them through bridge during that short window, and that's the only way that you stop them from getting to the rail and, like, getting to 25 at least. So the positioning here is something that I think is going to cause you guys some problems. You end up getting a pick somewhere on the other side of the map. So it's kind of in a holding pattern right now. We're in neutral. What I would want to see you doing here is doing your best to get special so that you can use that to help push in with. You do end up getting armor, and it looks like you guys like wait for the armor to start pushing in, but what happened there? No, you don't have armor. That's their armor. They get armor, you back up. So right now, if you're not getting special, you're spending time not having an impact on the match. Because if you don't want to fight right now, you don't really have a clean way in because they have full positional advantage over mid, and it's even numbers right now. So there's not a lot that you guys have going for you immediately. You probably don't want to be fighting. And so since you're not fighting, what are you doing? You want to take map control and you want to get specials. You're really close to a Booyah Bomb. This Booyah Bomb could open the game up for us if it's used well. But we're sitting sharking on this wall. They've got a ray out, so they probably saw you with that. They've got missiles out, so they definitely know you're here with that. Sharking on the wall has caused you to spend a lot of time just not really doing much. You don't have any further mid control now, even though your team just rayed. And the ray was on mid. If you guys push in with the ray, then you've got a shot. If you throw a Booyah Bomb and try and combo that into the ray or something, I don't know those 2 combo especially well together, but right now sitting and sharking on the wall isn't getting us a lot. And then as soon as we pop up over the top of the wall, they have enough of mid that they can take 3 different angles on you, and you do end up going down to this because you didn't notice that there was going to be crossfire. So what we want to be doing is like throw a Booyah Bomb up into mid. That'll force them to scatter down to left, and someone can just laser them on this one sight line right here. It'll force some of them back so that this jet isn't in range to hit you. Like, you've got some options for what to do with that special, but you take a fight before you have it. So you're not going to get benefit out of that. So your team is 2 down now, and something that's really scary about this, you guys do not have a lethal bomb to throw in front of the Rainmaker. The most you're going to be able to do to slow it down is throw Toxic Mist, but otherwise your players have to actually commit into your weapon's range to stop this in time. Jet ends up going down because they have to commit to being in range. It looks like someone flanked onto the plat here, so that means you know that there's someone on plat, and they're in fact threatening you. Okay, so you're stopping rail, which makes some sense. Getting up on this wall right here isn't a bad plan, except that both of you have it at the same time, and one of you is being targeted by the Stingray. Never stand on top of a teammate while they're being Stingrayed, because that's just going to get you both Stingrayed. It's going to show the enemy team where both of you are. Especially jumping there actually makes it easier for the Stingray to lock onto you. the Stingray is unlikely to be made to miss because it has such a big hitbox if you jump. Like jumping in the middle of a Stingray isn't going to make the shots miss like it will with a shooter. And it's making it so that you're less maneuverable. You can't go dodge left, right as well. So jumping there probably actually gets you killed by the ray. So now your teammate, the only thing they can really do from this angle to stop the Rainmaker, because they don't have bombs, is Inkjet. And that Inkjet's, you know, a little bit on the unreliable side. They eventually get it, and they get 2 picks, but push to 3 is, you know, usually GG. So let's see what happens next. Alright, the ray goes out. They respond by immediately missiling the ray, which is good counterplay. You do a good job of letting the missiles drop in a place where it won't be impactful. Unfortunately, your team went in on the left and took a fight. That's a big disconnect. If you guys are fighting on one side of the map, everyone wants to at least be looking at that side of the map. The fact that you're out here at right lockers means that you have no impact whatsoever on this fight on the left. So they go down at numbers advantage, and I would say you should probably be favoring the left side, if anything, because the left side is the side that they have to push the Rainmaker through. Like, start there and make sure you have control of that first, because now, yeah, like, you guys are realizing we're completely out of play. They can just take it up the left-hand side, and we do not get in their way at all. So now it's basically a full wipe, because we're all spawning back at it exactly the same time. I do like this Booyah Bomb placement. So right now, I want to be throwing this immediately, because if they get any closer to me, the Rainmaker shoots underneath my feet, or they bomb my jump or something. But right now, you can force the Rainmaker to move forward in a position it doesn't want to. But since now you've sat there for a while, it's got time to, like, stay at max range and know that it has an escape route if you do throw it at them. And they're also putting a bunch of shots underneath you to make it unsafe for you to land, and you do end up going down as soon as that happens. Now, the nice thing about that Booyah Bomb is it forces them off the ledge, and so now the Rainmaker is going to reset. They're going to have to pop it again. It's not going to reset. I shouldn't say that. It's just going to go back into shield. And we're able to regain control from it. But yeah, be very conscious of the amount of time that it takes to put a Booyah in the air, and make sure that you put it in the air in time that people cannot start contesting your landing by the time you're able to throw it. It's not always the best thing to hold it, because sometimes, you know, like you saw in that situation there, you ended up getting splatted for holding it for that long. So now we're trying to flank around the right-hand side and hopefully give our teammates a way in on the left, but our teammates keep going down on the left. They're clearly needing more help than they're getting in these fights over there. Ooh, and then the jet goes down. That's a really rough stagger. Something that you could definitely be doing, because they are putting a lot of pressure over bridge on your jet. They've taken the jet down a lot of times, which is really tough because that's an anchor. That's a weapon you want to be staying alive. So one thing you could be doing using your weapons kit is putting a wall on plat and giving the jet more opportunities to fire at the enemy team through that wall while you like paint for special or something. And then if something's happening on the left-hand side, you can just drop off of the snipe to the left. You can drop into trench and meet them there. You're not so far out of the way that you're irrelevant to those fights. Good missile management, all things considered. Yeah, I don't know what the Rainmaker thinks they're going to get from that. They do back up from the Booyah there. You almost might have, since they had to push all the way to 3, you might have actually wanted to put that behind the Rainmaker and force them forward, because then they'd have to be in that tiny little crevice between your wall and here, and they'd be easier to shoot at. Good. Let's see what happens here. We're wave aiming a little bit here. So you see them drop there, and the jump right here is what gets you killed, because it takes a really long time for you to be able to move again, and in that time, the other player is able to kind of lock onto where you're going to be. There's a lot of jumping and shooting that like isn't necessarily helping you. Like that'll help you if you're able to get the splat by the time you land, and you're against a weapon that hits you in a straight line. But jumping against like the Rainmaker, jumping against blasters, jumping against a weapon that needs to be in melee range anyway, those are probably not going to help you in the fight. So we're painting up. We got teammates in mid. They took a fight. This is something where, like, if the teammates are going to take that fight, they should probably be calling it, and you should be immediately trying to figure out where they're at so that you can go in and help them with it. Because that just ends up getting traded back. And now you've got the wall up, but at this point they could just bomb the inkjet off the wall because you're too far back with that wall. They end up dipping out of there. They jump. This is good. I'm still worried about left-hand side. I'm glad you checked map and start painting this because, like, we don't know where the rest of them are yet. And yeah, someone is in fact on left-hand side. I typically, as a frontliner, like to let the supports actually pop the Rainmaker shield and try and push further forward to make sure that my supports are safe while they do that. So that way we have the information of where they're at. This is really aggressive. We do end up pulling it off because the wall goes off in time before they splat you, but they actually did have shots on you. You probably wanted to be a little bit slower there just to make sure that they didn't laser you. But this is a really good situation right here. You've got the Booyah ready to go. And so now you're going to be able to use this. You throw that really far forward. That Booyah probably doesn't actually threaten anybody who is in play at that point in time. Because right now, they have the Spooks that goes down, then there are 3 that are up. You know that there's one directly in front of you, you get them. Okay, so they're 2 down right now. There are only 2 players in play. One of them has Ray, so they're just going to be at spawn or something. And then the other one we can see is oh, okay, no, that's the Ray. So we know that the Ray user just jumped out. So the only other player that's going to be here is a K-Shot. K-Shot's not going to be defending from the goal. K-Shot's going to be defending like a lot further forward. And in fact, they do end up, oh, it's a blue shot. But they end up right here. I don't think that Booyah Bomb actually displaces anybody. Oh, and here's someone over here that we can deal with. This is just a tough spot for you guys to be in. You need to push to 3, and the push is not going to continue from that. It's a brave jump, but you made it. Right now you want your teammates to be backing up to let you help them. Right now, because we're behind this wall, they are just going to take mid. And, like, yes, you don't have the numbers advantage to just hard commit and contest it, but you might want to, like, put a couple of shots over there, you know, make them commit if they're going to run after you or something like that. Staying right down here, you're not collecting special, you're not having an impact on the fight that is probably going to break out on left if history, you know, holds, which it does. You're not getting mid control, so there's not a lot that you're doing just slumped up against the wall right now. One goes down. One decides to push you. Good pick there, and you had help from your teammate on the bridge. Again, the jump was a little bit scary, but you made it work. What's especially scary about jumping is that your weapon already has pretty bad aim RNG, and jumping is not going to help with that. So it looks like you know that there's someone over there and you're trying to flush them out towards you. Again, you wait long enough that they're able to just scatter and run away and find a place where, okay, I know that if the Booyah lands near me, I can get away from it. Like, holding it is good if they need to push you. But if you're trying to push them and you're holding it, you're giving them more time to get to an escape route. So we're painting a lot, but we're not really locating where the enemy players are, nor are we, like, taking control of space that's relevant to push through. We're in neutral right now, so we want to be looking for some kind of picks. And, like, yeah, you know, getting special would be nice, but you've got so much of mid painted already that it's unlikely that it's going to happen very quickly. And the enemy team is going to be on you guys before then. So right now I'd be looking for, like, where are the enemy players? What fights are we taking? Look, there's an inkjet that's popped on the right-hand side. And again, we're disconnected from the rest of our team. With your map checks, like, also be checking where your teammates are and try and stay closer to them. Because being this far separated from them is consistently putting your team in 3v4s. So we actually, okay, we went down one. We traded one back somewhere on the map. So Fortunately, the teammates were able to win what is effectively a 2v3 because the Ray user jumped out. But grabbing the Rainmaker there, I mean, I guess that might actually be a good idea to force the Ray out, now that I think about it. Because now, even if the Ray were to get you, you'd still have time to pop the Rainmaker shield again before the game ends. So, not a bad plan, I guess, if that was your idea. But you didn't have much of an advantage from the fight in neutral game. It took your teammates winning what is basically a 2v3 in order for this to work out. Now you're actually in a pretty good position, though. What you need is for your K-Shot to get in front of you so that they can clear the space in front of you. Because if the space in front of you isn't cleared, the first player that you run into on the enemy team is going to splat you and you're going to lose the game. And that is exactly what happens, and there's the game. So, again, what you want to be happening is for this player to be in front of you, and I would back up and use the pillow if we're going to be in this kind of a position right now. Because right now, you're the only weapon that has any angle on snipe, and that's where this player ends up coming from. If you had used that shot maybe on the ground in front of them, and you had been far enough away that this bomb didn't threaten you, you're in a better position. One other thing I would say is that you're jumping a lot in positions you don't need to be. Like, this jump right here, it's not letting you move anywhere you want to move. And it ends up landing you on enemy ink. So you're moving a little bit slower once you land. So definitely be a lot more careful about jumping while you're shooting. So you mentioned game sense in the messages that you sent, and that's definitely something that, looking at this now, I agree that the issue was that you did not have information about the state of the game fast enough to like act on it. Part of it is the positions you're taking too. You're just positioning too far away from your team. But I'm assuming that that is a factor of you not knowing where your teammates are. Because again, like I was saying with Midnight Salamanders, you want your team to all be focused on one fight at a time. That way you're putting all of your resources towards that fight. And you're most likely to win that fight and be able to, you know, like a domino effect, trade back and trade back and trade back as the enemy players run into trade until you guys have an advantageous game state. If two of you guys go into a fight by yourselves and the entire enemy team focuses all on them, you lose that fight, and then the other two members, as they come in to try and join that fight, are now in a 4v2 that they will also lose. But if you're all fighting at the same time, that's going to give you an advantage. So you need to be playing closer with your other teammates. You don't need to be playing like in the same location, but you definitely need to be taking at least like an off angle on the same fight, so that as soon as one of them gets under any kind of pressure, you're able to rotate over and be there without going down, 3 down and just having to jump back without having an impact on anything. Also, when in doubt, paint for special and collect information. Like as soon as because I'm seeing there are a lot of positions where you're like, I don't know what I should be doing. I'm just gonna paint the sides, I guess. In those kinds of situations, first of all, I would definitely recommend thinking about the objective line, the concept of like, this is the path the Rainmaker has to follow. So what is the area I need to control next in order to move one step further on the objective line? So on defense, you follow the opponent's Rainmaker path, and you just take them from your goal step by step out of your base until you get to mid. And then once you're in mid, the path that you're thinking about is where you have to push the Rainmaker. And you're controlling the space that your Rainmaker carrier has to follow as you work your way up. So that should guide where you should be looking for fights. Because there were a lot of situations there where, like, you're on defense, but you're on the right-hand side, which is away from where they're going to push the Rainmaker. Or you're on offense, and you're on your left-hand side, which, again, is away from where you're going to be pushing the Rainmaker. So play the objective line is one tip. Know where your teammates are, and always be close enough that you can join their fight within a couple seconds is another tip. So whenever you're map checking, don't just look at where enemies are, look at where teammates are, too. And number 3... when in doubt or when in neutral, paint for special, use the special to get yourselves out of neutral in a favorable way. So those are your steps to having more of an impact on the game than you did in this match here. So hopefully that helped you guys out. Yes, I will absolutely be reviewing the direct. I'm going to be up as soon as that is started, and I'll have a stream live and everything, and I'll be reacting to it live. So hope to see all of you guys then. I do have to sign off because, again, I have to go and vote, and I have not that much time left to do that, so I need to make sure I get that in. But my links just conveniently got posted in the chat, so all of my links are there. My Patreon is there if you want to support me. I'm trying to do this full time, and I would really appreciate some extra help getting there. But also my YouTube, my TikTok, the Twitch channel, Twitter, and the Discord server. The Squid School Discord server is where you can find me to ask for one of these kinds of VOD reviews for yourself. I do these every Tuesday at this same exact time from 5 p.m. Central to 7:30-ish Central. So if you want one of those, just DM me, and you might just have a slot in time before Splatoon 3. But even then, a lot of these tips are going to carry over into Splatoon 3. Like, I do look at the work we're putting into Splatoon 2 right now as practice for the new game when it comes out. So I don't think that your time is wasted even if I'm giving you a VOD review the day before it drops. Anyway, I really do have to get going, so thank you guys so much. All of you who are on YouTube, if you want to join us, let's swap over to here real quick. If you want to join us on Twitch real quick, we're going to be going and raiding. Let's go and raid Undershirt Man. Undershirt Man raided me recently and is playing a whole bunch of different kinds of weapons. Looks like he's doing Salmon Run right now, and he has a pupper cam, and that's everything we could want from a Splatoon stream. So thank you, everybody, and say hi to Undershirt Man for me. I'm going to go do my civic duty.